The 2-0 pitch. Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right. It's got a chance. Gone to the Royals bullpen. A towering 3-run home run to right by Bone Naylor. And there's the separator. 8-2 Cleveland.
On 4 unsuccessful challenges.
That's deep, right center field, and gone. Now Vinny hits it hard. Deep into right center field, and the Royals go back-to-back in the bottom of the 7th.
All right, a Friday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Jack Johnson hanging out with us. We head up until 2 o'clock. Coming up an hour from now, we'll talk with Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest, 41 is the Mike podcast. In the noon hour, Mick Schaefer will join us, KSHB 41 Sports Director. We got the cuts before the show is over as well. Some NBA playoffs coming up tonight right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Royals in action, a 3-game set against the Tigers, sitting 2.5 games back in the American League Central. And we still talk about the fortunate division that the Royals play in that they are only 2.5 games back of the division lead instead of being 7.5 back if they were in the NL Central. So thankfully, they are in a trash division. And the best team in the division, or at least the team leading the division, has a negative run differential.
Balanced division.
That's a good point. Yeah, you know what?
Balanced.
That's a great way to spin it. I like that. It's not a bad division. It's a balanced division.
Yeah.
You know, and when it's a balanced division, it actually makes it tougher. Some would say. Like, it's a lot more difficult when the division is balanced as it is, because, like, any team could win. The Royals a half game behind the White Sox with the same run differential, negative 16. But they are a full game over the Twins. Take that, Minnesota. Twins, negative 12 in the run differential. Detroit does have a positive run differential while being 2 games under 500. Royals get ready for that team, 1 game back of the Tigers, but a 3-game set. Bubic on the mound tonight. We know there won't be any Skubal, won't be any Fran Valdez, so we'll see what the Royals are able to do. Let's start with the Royals here, 913-912-4810. We'll get into plenty of stuff about the Chiefs with Matt Derrick. And Juwan Jennings and Alohi Gilman talked yesterday, some really interesting stuff. What I heard from Alohi Gilman, and we'll talk with Matt Derrick about this, is exactly his answers explain why the Chiefs identified him. And we'll get into that, the things we heard. I'm excited for what he can do as the back-end quarterback of the team, the defense. Bolton being the quarterback of the overall defense, Alohi Gilman being the quarterback of the secondary. So let's get into the Royals conversation. You know, Sterling, last week we talked about what the pivotal 11 games were for the Kansas City Royals. And we said, pivotal, 11 games. We put it at 11 because they were getting ready to play the 3rd game against the A's. So they had the 10-game set, 3 against Seattle, 4 against Cleveland, and then 3 against Detroit.
Went 6-5, didn't they?
We said they need to go 6-5. If they go 6-5 in those 11 games, that's a success. They have gone 5-3.
Oh, about the next 11 games. I get what you're saying now. I was thinking
Yes.
of, yeah.
They have gone 5-3. Do we still think it's a success if they go 6-5?
No.
It's what they did along the way.
Expectations change.
Right. You swept the Mariners. You won 2 against Cleveland. Winning only 1 game in the next 5 would not feel like a success, especially against your divisional opponents. But yet, you know, beating head-to-head your divisional opponents matter because of tiebreakers and everything like that. They ask you how many, not how, at the end of the season.
Sure.
When you get into the postseason. So if you pick up 95 wins, it shouldn't matter if you lose every game against your division opponents, because you're probably going to win your division at that point if you're winning 95 games.
Sure.
So going 6-5, we really didn't break it down and say 6-5, but specifically 5 of those against Cleveland and Detroit. We said 6-5. If they win 1 game against Detroit, they would have split the series against the Guardians, lost the series to the Tigers, not great, but went 6-5 in 11 games when they had been playing rough baseball to that point. It's hard for me to have revisionist history, Sterling. This is what I want to talk about and bring you in the conversation.
This.
It's hard to have revisionist history because at the time we have to go back to how they were playing.
Correct.
And say if they can go 6-5, it was a good indication of what they could be the rest of the way, that they would have been turning things around, heading in the right direction. They have gone 5-3, but they were 5-1 at one point, losing that first game to the A's, somehow sweeping the Mariners and taking the first two against the Guardians. But it does feel like a series loss, even though it's a series split. I would be whelmed if they end up being 6-5 now, even though I would have settled out of court for 6-5. 5-6 is a disaster at this point. Is like incredibly underwhelming because then you would have lost 5 consecutive games against teams you're chasing and 3 against the Tigers. You'd go from being a game and a half back of the Tigers to 4.5 games back of the Tigers. That's tough to be able to rebound from. But I do want to go back to that time and then fast forward and say, hey, you know what? They split the series against the Guardians and they swept the Mariners. Hell yes,
not
sign
good
me
enough.
up right now.
Not because you started off 2-0 and then against the Cleveland Guardians, and those last 2 games were the games that you really should have taken advantage of because you're facing worse pitching. Mm-hmm. Those are the pitchers you should hammer, and those are the pitchers that the Royals traditionally have not hammered. Slade Ciccone,
Ceccaroni. I have no idea what his
Macaroni,
name is.
Slade Macaroni,
Yes,
and he just goes out and shoves. Mm-hmm. Lugo can't get out of 4 innings, or he pitches 4 innings. And then you face Detroit. This is why expectations changed. You think the Royals are a little banged up with Cole Reagans and Noah Cameron. Look at Detroit.
Yeah.
No Skubal, no Framber Valdez. Half their starting lineups out. If you can't take 2 out of 3 from this banged up Detroit team, that's a massive issue in my mind. We're seeing Bobby start to turn around. That home run to right center is the reason why I thought that the fences might benefit him more than almost anyone else. Not for the pull side, but from the opposite field bombs. That was nice to see. Vinny, I know we'll get into his audio later on. Him and Cags are very similar. They are crushing the ball with no one on base. And then someone gets on, and it's like they turn into
you.
Me. Yes, me. You ain't getting a hit. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's mental. Don't know what it is. But those 2 things have continued to happen. And again, let's be real. This team can't hit lefties. Vinny's unplayable versus lefties, but he keeps playing. They won't play Cags or Carter Jensen mostly versus lefties. They don't do well against lefties. And the Royals, this is why it should be expectations changing. Well, you're not facing Framber Valdez or Tariq Skubal.
Yeah.
This should benefit them now.
So we went back, Jack. I know I didn't ask you at the time because you weren't in here at the time. But it was getting ready for that A's series. They'd won the first game against the A's, lost the second game, and it was like, all right, here's a rubber match. And then they've got 10 games. So let's look at it as 11 at that point. And Sterling and I said 6-5, we'd be really happy with that.
I said minimum.
But 6-5, you're like, yes, I'll take it. If they go,
I'll take it. But I was really happy is
but
strong.
we said they should go 6-5. If they go 6-5, then that's an indication of where this team is heading. This is a crucial stretch against 3 teams that could all be in the playoffs. If you can find a way to go 6-5, it's pretty good because you're playing above 500 baseball against playoff teams and one game against a team that's leading their division in the A's. So I know we didn't ask you in that time about 6-5. It does change the feeling in these last 2 games, which is rough. It's frustrating because if they would have lost the first game against the Guardians, won the second game, lost the third game, and then won yesterday, it'd be the exact same record, but just a different feel going into the Tigers. Would you have settled for 6-5 going into that A's final game, not knowing if they were going to win and lose? 3 against Seattle, 4 against Cleveland, 3 against Detroit. And if you would have, is the feeling still the same coming off frustrating losses the last 2 games?
Yeah, at the time of that series finale in Sacramento, I probably would have taken the 6-5 record just because you'll never, or you shouldn't, take winning baseball for granted. And think about how long this season is. I mean, I'm frustrated they split with Cleveland because they did beat Bybee. They beat Gavin Williams, and they had Reagans and Lugo, and you lose. But that's, that's baseball because, if you looked at those matchups on paper, you would say, okay, they'll probably lose the first 2, maybe take one of them, and they'll find a way to split a 4-game series. It's usually what happens, too. Like, if you play give or take, 2 4-game series over the course of a month, you probably split both of those if you're an average team, which is what the Royals are right now. In the grand scheme of things, when we get to August and September, are we going to look back at that Cleveland series and go, that's a really bad split they had? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't see it that way. You look at the games that you gave away, or you look at the series you got swept, or you swept somebody, and that may dictate where you're at. But the Royals are, coming off of a 5-game winning streak. They've lost back-to-back games, and we see this a lot in baseball with the fan base, is that when you're accustomed to winning and things are going your way, it's like, how do you respond when that first loss happens? I mean, there were people really angry on Wednesday night when they lost 3-1. It's like, that happens. This team is not good enough to win 10, 11 games in a row right now. And the way they played yesterday, it's unfortunate. It's disappointing. Seth Lugo was not good. The offense wasn't good till late. But now you have this opportunity against Detroit, facing them, a version of them that you probably will not see the rest of the season, where they're so banged up. Gleyber Torres is on the IL. Skubal's on the IL. Valdez is serving a suspension. They just got swept, so they're not feeling high and mighty. I doubt they are. I mean, I'm sure they're staying level-headed. They're telling themselves they're level-headed. But it's a Detroit team that I'm sure a lot of their fan base is going, this is a disastrous season for us so far. We, blew the AL Central last year, right? We were up 15 games on Cleveland, lost that. Now we're 18-20 through 38 games. They're disappointed. But I also look at it this way. The American League Central is going to be gettable the entire season.
Yeah.
So, though I would be incredibly disappointed with losing this series to Detroit when they don't know their starter yet. It'll probably be Ty Madden on Saturday, then a bullpen game, depending how Game 1 and Game 2 go on Sunday. But a series lost to Detroit, let's be real here. They're 42 games into the season, and this division's not very good. If they win this series or they sweep Detroit, it's balanced. They play well and they sweep it. Does that mean they're going to win the division? It doesn't, because every team in this division, even Minnesota right now, is going, we can win this thing. Cleveland thinks they can hang on to this lead and win it. Detroit thinks they can get hot. Chicago is playing well.
Like, why can't we? Why not us?
Absolutely. And that's why, as long as you are hovering around 500, you are giving yourselves a chance in a week or two stretch to play incredible baseball, where then you get 5 to 10 games over 500 and you don't look back. They're 17-21. The goal should be, at bare minimum, heading to Chicago at 19-22. It would be. Great. I'll absolutely love 20-21, but think about it this way. We're still 42 games into the season with 115 plus to go. There's a lot of time to decide who the best team in this division is.
You said maybe a bullpen game. Is Sunday a potential 2 bullpen game?
I see Cameron starting.
Okay.
I really am not that concerned with his availability.
Yeah.
What about Cole Reagans?
I don't think he's good. I mean, he's shut down for a week, is he not?
Yeah. And so I do want to talk about that here.
I'm an IL or like an IL stint or just a start.
Not yet. I mean, if I would say probably, I mean, I know that Q said we'll see tomorrow when he comes back in. He said that yesterday. So today when he gets in, how he's feeling or whatever. But I mean, it might be a start. It could be a month. Could be 2 months. Like, I have no idea. I know that David Lesky pointed this out, that in 2014, Giordano had the same exact thing and missed 1 start. Everybody's different. So tennis elbow, pitcher's elbow does not sound like, surgery. But he's a guy that's had elbow problems before, and anything dealing with the elbow scares you.
It's kind of like Darren Peterson with the cramps.
Yes.
And anytime you feel it, you're going to...
Oh, is Cole Reagans taking creatine?
Well, I will say...
Can we check on the creatine for Cole? Oh, it's creatine Cole. That's what it is. The creatine
Cole.
The creatine is going to the elbow. His left elbow. The creatine is actually bunching up in his elbow. Once you had Tommy John, they drilled that hole in there, right?
Yeah.
And the creatine got in there, and it just won't leave. And so there's so much creatine in the elbow that it's causing pitcher's elbow.
Makes sense. I think for me, if it were me, if Noah Cameron is good to go, Giordano was built a little different. Let's be real. Giordano was, I want the ball. I might throw it a guy if I have to, but I want to be out there. I'm not saying Cole doesn't have that, but it's not at least as outspoken or noticeable as Giordano was. If Noah Cameron's good to go, anyone opposed to maybe the was it? Can you do 10 for a pitcher, or is it 15 for a pitcher?
It's 15 for a pitcher, but
10 for
I
a
believe
position.
there's a loophole where if you put somebody on the injured list, you can bring somebody back up.
And
So that-
retroactive.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
that's my point. So
Yeah.
could you have Stephen Kolek then?
That's what I'm envisioning.
If Cameron's good,
Yeah. And if you would have to put somebody on the IL for Kolek to be able to be
Correct.
called back up within 15 days.
and that's kind of my point of, is that a way the Royals could maneuver
Yeah.
the
Right.
loopholes
yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, if it's
and not have a bullpen game if he misses a start?
yeah, I hope that he doesn't miss a start and he's back out there. That would be great if
Yeah,
that was the case,
phenomenal.
because then you get a day off on Monday and you can reset everything. We'll see. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to hear from Vinny Pasquantino. We'll talk about Vinny. We'll talk about Cags. We'll talk about Cole. We'll talk about Carlos. Wow, it's killer C's that are killing the Royals. Carlos, Cole, Cags, and Vinny Pasquantino.
Kai's and runners in scoring position. I don't know how to do that.
That's what it is.
Instead of guys.
Creatine. Creatine. There's it's the big creatine right in the elbow of Cole Reagans. You know what? It's dehydrated. He's going to have Thirsty John surgery. Yay? Nay?
No,
You sure?
kind of.
I kind of liked it. I'm not going to lie. I'm gonna take a timeout so I can pat myself on the back after that one. All right, frustrating game yesterday for the Royals. So many opportunities. I mean, there was so much more room for activities for the Royals on the base paths yesterday. And they either gave it back or did not come through. I tweeted out yesterday after Michael got thrown out at third when it would have been first and second with an out. I get it. He didn't get a good read on it, but and he tried to get, if you get to third with one out, it's like, man, that was aggressive, and now a fly ball gets you a run. Wow, that was really nice by Michael. But because of the entire season's worth of guys getting thrown onto the base paths, it's just another brick in the wall. It's just the beat goes on. But I tweeted out yesterday, like, the Royals this year, what they do, they look at each other and go, guys, can we get a rally going this inning? Then they get on the base paths and they go, Leroy Jenkins, and just run all around and get thrown out everywhere.
First pitch, curveball in the dirt. Let's swing at it.
I mean,
Let's swing at it.
But getting thrown on the base paths is annoying, certainly. But also guys with runners in scoring position when, Cags is up there and he's struggling, and I think he knows he's struggling. But in the first inning, you got a chance to really, you gave up 3, you're down 3-0. Boy, you got an opportunity to make a statement that now, nope, we're winning this game. We're not going to let this one get away, even though our starter gave up 3 runs. You've got bases loaded and 2 outs. You've got a 4-pitch walk to Bobby, 5-pitch walk to Collins, or Carter, right before you get up, and you swing at the first pitch a low curveball. Like, it wasn't a get-me-over fastball that Cags just barely missed, and, oh, you know what, I get it. He knew the guy was going to throw something to get ahead because his base is loaded. He couldn't put him anywhere. You have to be thinking pitch location on that. I'm taking, unless it's a fastball down the middle, because he's walked a guy on 4 pitches and walked a guy on 5 pitches, and he hasn't really been couple have been close misses, but a couple of them have not really been close either. You can't go up there and go, I'm swinging no matter what. Swinging no matter what. Curveball, let me swing over the top of it, and a weak ground ball. Like, that is just up there. No approach. Pressing, trying to do too much, or trying to be the hero. And I know it's difficult. I know it's hard to hit a baseball. I know all of that stuff is tough, but you got to have an idea of what you're going to do at the plate. And that was one of the more frustrating things that we saw yesterday, was a pitcher that was wild and that was on the ropes, and you swing at the first pitch and it's a curveball low that you roll over on. Like, he's been doing such a good job, though, of approach that we've been kind of giving him credit for, that even though it's a strike, he hasn't necessarily been swinging at it.
And again, you and I talked about it yesterday when it happened. If it was a fastball and he pops up, you go, it was a get me over, it makes sense. Curveball in the dirt, that's just a guy who doesn't want to strike out maybe in that situation.
I think he was too antsy. I see a strike, I'm a swing.
But I think this can be boiled down to one thing overall. It's not just Cags. It's not just Vinny. They've been major culprits. Would you believe me if I said the Royals have the worst OPS of runners in scoring position?
Oh, yeah, I definitely believe you.
They are 30th.
Yeah.
And their slug is the worst by a wide margin. They're slugging .318 with runners in scoring position. So even when they do get a hit, it's a single. And some guys might not be super fast on this team. So while it's nice, you got a hit or you draw a walk, they're not driving anyone in. And they just, there's no power with guys on base. It's been brutal. But yes, they are 30th in slug and 30th in OPS with runners in scoring position.
Vinny and Cags are combined 8 for 64 with runners in scoring position with 8 singles.
Well, there you go.
8 singles. Vinny is slugging 128 with runners in scoring position, and Cags is slugging 120 with runners in scoring position.
The rest of the team has to be doing decent then. I mean that's
yes.
a big. I mean, if you think about it.
Yes,
Isaac Collins.
8 for 64 is tough to over. Although somehow Vinny, in his 39 at bats with runners in scoring position, still has 13 RBIs with only 5 hits. So Cags also has no walks and 10 strikeouts in his 25 at bats, and they are combined 1 for 27 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Are Vinny and Cags. Here's Vinny after the game, and he has been one of the guys that will stand up and take the blame and take on the responsibility for whatever's going on, call himself out. And Vinny was incredibly frustrated yesterday, and here he is talking about what he has done this year with runners in scoring position.
It starts with me. I mean, I'm dog with runners in scoring position all year. Go read what Zabrowski just said to me in the last inning there. That's how I've been hitting all year. So with runners on base. So I got to be better when they're out there. Got to put the ball in play, make something happen, and just be better. So we regroup tonight and get back at it tomorrow. Obviously, I'm going to take anything personal, and it's just a little loud. You can celebrate with your dugout all you want. And we made eye contact, and then obviously I know what he said, so I didn't say anything to him. But if that's the way he likes to play, he's a reliever, right? Those guys get juiced up. I've got no personal issue with him, but it makes it a little bit more fun, I guess. He's been really good all year long, so hats off to him. He made his pitches, and I didn't do my job. So the victor, the victor writes the story or whatever it is, and he beat me today. So won't be the last time I face him. So we just got to be better next time.
So, if you didn't see it, the replay shows Zabrowski saying after he gets Vinny, calls him a bleeping B. Flexes and yells and then looks over at Vinny and mouths bleeping B as he's walking off. Vinny sort of stops and looks. Who was on third base at that time?
Was it Mike Hell?
I can't remember.
Michael?
I can't remember who was on third at that point.
No, because if it was Garcia, he probably would have.
Yeah.
Well, we can line this up. Vinny was hitting.
No, it was Bobby that got to third on the Vinny. I think Vinny was swinging and Bobby took off for third because as Zabrowski was walking off the mound, there was a guy at third walking in. I think it was Bobby, and looked at him and almost like did a double take. Like, are you serious, dude? I don't know.
It's a bummer. Which, by the way, Bobby had a hell of a game.
Yeah, 4 for 4. Oddly enough, he did it on the last game of the series. Zabrowski did.
Well, they won't see each other again, right?
As they
I don't see the Guardians until the end of August.
Yeah.
Is it actually that long?
Yeah.
Yeah. As they head out of town, he dropped that in the last game of the series. I don't. Good. I mean, good on Vinny. I guess like there's a part of me that is tip of the cap to Vinny for approaching it that way. Of I've been bleeping dog bleep with runners in scoring position. Go read what Zabrowski, said to me, walking off the mound. And that's true. That's how I've been playing. But to approach it as in like that situation, knowing you've been struggling and you strike out and that dude says bleeping B and you go, yeah, that's just that's right. That's how I've been playing. At least that's the way you present it to the media. I mean, that's a prideful dude. It's an Italian. So I mean, I would wonder what today would be like with the Guardians and Royals if there was one more game in this series with that happening, with a guy who is as respected, liked, beloved in the clubhouse that it's like, well, you don't go after Salvi, right? Because then the whole city will rally. But in that clubhouse, you call Vinny a bleeping B after you strike him out when there's been no like animosity or anything. It's not like Vinny hit a home run off of him and pimped the bat flip and stared at him and did one of those things and slammed his foot on the on home plate or anything and then struck him out after that. Like there hasn't been any of that. And as he said, like I don't have any interaction with him.
Would have been a heavyweight fight though. He's 6'4", 230. Zabrowski.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big boy too.
Yeah.
That's heavyweight.
It's Vinny taking the high road. But I think it's Vinny also recognizing, yeah, what can I do? I've been terrible with running.
He was right.
Yeah, right, because it's like, well, bleep that guy. Because if I go there in front of the media and I go, well, to hell with him. I can't wait till the next time I see him, right? Well, hopefully it's not with runners in scoring position. So he stands up there and is so pissed at himself that another professional will walk off the mound and say that to him, and he'll go, yeah, you're right. What's my response? I don't even know what to make of it other than Vinny holds himself accountable to like the highest degree of anybody I can remember, to the point of somebody calling him that and him going, well, the way I'm playing, yeah, I guess I deserve to be called that right now. You deserve the booze the fans give you. What was that line from the coach?
What's frustrating is I think yesterday specifically, we saw a lot of really good things, and it boils down to you could say Seth Lugo or the bullpen. Was it Centrola?
Sarantola.
Sarantola. Sorry, I butcher his name. I only see it on the show.
We could talk about the offense. They gave up 8 runs.
Yeah, so I mean, we can talk about that. But again, the runs came a little late.
And if the runs came earlier, then Sarantola probably
you're
isn't
not
in the game.
going to him. So it's multifaceted, obviously. But I give Q some credit because I thought the 6th inning when the bases were loaded, Massey's coming up against a lefty, and they brought in Nick Lofton.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really good move.
Yeah,
and a sac fly, and it was early though. That's fairly early in the game. 6th inning is a little early. Then it's 9 to 8th when it's obvious, and then bring in Lane Thomas, knowing that they're going to bring in a righty, but understanding you don't want Kyle Isbell to face a lefty, so you bring in Lane Thomas. Does a great job, great at bat, draws a walk. That flips the lineup over. Garcia, again, you're not trying to blame Garcia because again, overall, fairly nice game. But that's when where if he comes through, we're sitting here going, what a phenomenal job managing that inning by Q. What a great job goes to 2 guys on his bench, and they come through. They did their job.
Yeah.
But because Garcia doesn't, I don't think we're having that conversation because as hard as I was on Q the game before, I want to be fair and give him credit for what I thought was a good philosophical move. And this one just didn't work out.
And it is surprising that Cags wasn't the magic elixir to score a
Still scored 5 runs, though.
bunch of runs. Mainly
Five's more than one.
I know, but mainly because of him, too.
It's because they're scared of, you know why? They're scared.
They're scared that he'll swing at a first pitch curve low and
better than Elias Diaz.
I'd love for Elias Diaz to be in there in that situation because I have no idea what he would have done. I know what Cags did, though. It's total hindsight 2020. I get it. Jack, what do you make of Vinny's comments and that whole interaction there with the final pitch of the 8th?
Yeah, I mean, he took the high road for sure. And the way I view it, if he would have been, a hothead about it in the media, he would have gotten crushed for it. Even Cleveland fans would have crushed him for it. 'Cause it's like, well, you struck out and you're hitting 190. Yeah, like what else do you want? We see it all the time where when a pitcher gets a big strikeout and you see a hitter get upset by it, it's like, well, you struck out. Mm-hmm. So, and here's what I take. I don't know Sobrowski at all. I don't know him personally. Really, I remember he was great last year and certainly been good this year as a great strikeout pitcher in the back end of that bullpen. Same way we do it with Lucas Ursig, right, in the post-game interview, when it's like these guys have adrenaline pumping through their veins. Woo! I bet you if you asked him if he remembers saying that, I doubt he does. I think it probably was a moment he was brought in there to face Vinny Pasquantino. Vinny was at the point, he was the go-ahead run, I believe. If not, he was the tying run.
He was the tying run, yeah.
Yeah, so... Look, it looks trashy. It looks Bush League. He might have remembered it, but sometimes with guys get so pumped up with the adrenaline, they'll say things. Now, maybe it was intentional. He doesn't like Vinny Pasquantino. He faced him earlier in the series and got him out, too. He struck him out. It's a guy who's pitching well. Vinny's not playing all that well. If they see each other again, I'll promise you this, he remembers that, and he's going to want to hit a line drive right back up the middle that goes
softball, softball move.
Buzz the tower?
Yeah, I mean, that or a home run. He'd certainly be wanting that. But see, I like the approach he took because he is, taking blame for it. It's like, okay, this guy's going to talk trash to me. He got me out. I haven't been playing well. He has been playing well. Vinny goes the other way and goes, who does he think he is? Does he know who I am? I'm a guy who just had 30 home runs last year. I drove in over 100. Who the hell is this guy to yell in my face? He's taking the approach of, I need to be better. Next time I get an opportunity like that, not just against Dabrowski, I got to drive in runs because that's what I'm paid to do. We'll see how motivated he is tonight. I fully expect him to have another spot, an opportunity to come through, whether it's big moment late in the game or just an early chance to drive in some runs, because that lights a fire under anybody, whether you're a mild-mannered guy or not. When a grown-ass man looks you in the face and calls you a B, you want to rip somebody's head off for it and come through the next time you're up.
I hope he goes yard of him in August when they face each other, and he just goes, who do you think you are? I am.
So maybe he does that, yes.
They're going to have that in the back of his mind the next time they play Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be there.
Yeah,
I think if somebody hits a home run off of him, they're going to show him up a little bit.
Yeah, it was, by the way, it was Nick Lofton at third. Because
Lofton,
he had the shot to left center, and then when Bobby got the single or the air single, whatever it was, to the left side, he was at third. Bobby got to second on the wild pitch, and then Vinny struck
real
out.
solid, man.
I would also wonder too, and I didn't hear or if anything from Sobrowski. getaway day, usually it's pretty quick. So I don't know who all they would have had a chance to talk to, skipper and the starting pitcher, and then they get out of there. But Zabrowski had the wild pitch, and Bobby moves up to second, and Lofton almost scored. Like, is there a chance that, he gets up 0-2, then he throws 2 curveballs, one in the dirt, one too low, then he doesn't, swing at him, and then he throws the slider that Vinny swings at. There's also a chance that Zabrowski's pumped up and called himself that effing B. Throw the ball. Quit being afraid of the dudes. Throw the damn ball. You're throwing the curveballs in the dirt because you're afraid of it. Throw the slider, throw the ball, you bleeping B.
Yeah, but you're probably not looking at him in the dome, eye to eye doing it. If he did it walking off towards his dugout, sure.
Right, I don't disagree, but there are plenty of times when a pitcher walks off the mound is screaming and isn't necessarily screaming at the umpire or the other players. They're screaming and mad at themselves. I would say there's maybe a possibility that was the case, that there might be a Zabrowski-Vinny conversation and him be like, dude, I was pissed off at myself. Like,
normally you see the glove come up when they're mad at themselves, though. You see the glove come up and they yell into the glove.
That is true. That is a good point. That's
I can chalk it up to the adrenaline part of it.
I'm with you, Jack.
Even if he did, like, in that moment, he's probably like, this is my enemy. I'm going to get him out. And I may have nothing against the guy, but if I get him out in a big spot, I might not know what I say. I might not know how I'm looking at.
Who was the White Sox closer? That was the psycho?
Liam Hendricks.
Yeah, Liam Hendricks.
My God.
Former Royal.
Yeah, former Royal.
But Liam Hendricks, that he would joke about that his wife said, whatever it is, when you cross the white line, you turn into a psycho. Like, I don't know that guy. And then you walk off the mound and you pass the white line again, and you're like the nicest person anybody has ever met.
Max Scherzer.
You do all this charity work. Like, Liam Hendricks might be one of the nicest people that's out there. Like, every ball, cleats he gives away, gloves he gives away, hats he gives away to kids. He's got so many hats and cleats throughout the season because he keeps giving them away to random kids at games. But on the other side of the white line, he's a freaking menace. He is a madman that doesn't care. Like, if I buzz the tower and hit you too damn bad, get out of the way. Then he walks off the mound and he's out there, helping sick kids, everywhere. So there could be a little bit of that too.
How scared are we of Carter's defense? And maybe Salvi?
Was he trying to backpick there, or did he just lose his balance?
I thought he was trying to backpick.
I thought he was too.
It's 2.5 months into his professional career, and the way I view it, in the same way that we had the conversations about, how does Kaggs or Jensen get better against lefties? Well, you got to do more with the limited amount of opportunities that you have against him, and then that puts you in the lineup every single day. But for Carter, the last thing you want to do is say, well, let's just DH him. He's too. He's got to learn how to catch all these guys.
Agree, but at some point, maybe let Salvi catch 8A. It's been a while
Well,
now.
it's his hip. They're not going to. I don't think he's 35, 36. Do you want to rush him back this early on?
Sure. I get it. It just to me, there's a dichotomy of, you want to win now, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not playing Kaggs and Jensen versus lefties. But you also want to see the growth of Carter.
They're not playing Kaggs, so they're playing Jensen versus lefties.
Sure, fair. They're not playing Kaggs. Okay, so you want to win now. Sure. But also you want to win now, so you're going to let Carter grow through a lot of growing pains catching.
Yeah.
To me, and even Vinny right now, if you want to win now, Vinny's been like the worst versus lefties this year. And I get he's the back of the card, but last year he was unplayable versus lefties as well. At some point, there has to be some sort of conversation of, well, which one is it? Where are you at?
Well, with Vinny, I guess the question would be, if we're going to sit him against lefties, who plays? You're not moving Kaggs in from right field, especially against lefties. Kaggs might not even be in there. And I don't believe Carter would be catching as much as he is right now if it wasn't for Salvi's hip soreness, hip injury, whatever he's got.
I'm not saying sit Vinny. I just find it. I find it funny.
You just say play Kaggs more.
I want to see Kaggs more versus lefty. That's what it boils down to. That is what it comes down to for me. 100% is play Kaggs more versus lefties, because you can find other situations and scenarios that almost disprove why he's not playing.
But if you play Kaggs more, therefore, then Diaz can't be playing, so therefore Carter would have to catch as long as Salvi has the hip. So you can't have both right now with Salvi with the hip.
Or the last game specifically, I still would have had Diaz. Well, no, I wouldn't have. I would have had, again, Salvi catching, but with the hip, probably not. And then Diaz. So
you got, because with the right-hander or left-hander in there, you're exchanging Kaggs for Marte, and that's been a pretty decent exchange with
No,
the
Marte's
righty
been really
lefty,
good.
because Marte hasn't been a problem. Lane Thomas hasn't been the problem. The problem has been the guys you were relying on
Salvi and Vinny.
to come through, especially with runners in scoring position. Salvi, Vinny, and Kaggs have just been brutal this year with runners in scoring position.
And sit Salvi for a day. Sit Vinny for a day. You can play first base, Kaggs.
Yeah, some of those games have been, your 3-4-6 hitters, 3-4-7, 3-4-5 at times with Vinny, Salvi, and Kaggs.
Well, I think too. What is Kaggs' strikeout rate against lefties right now? Is it in the 40s still?
It's almost 50%.
Okay, so it's almost 50%. I'm assuming the average is in the low ones or whatever it would be. And I am a firm. I kind of take on Ned Yost's persona with that. These guys have to learn how to hit him, but where you start with it is when you are left in there, when a lefty comes in, like a Sobrowski or like a Tim Herron in this series, and you're up against him. I'm sorry, but you got to hit him there. Like that's where you have to come through. I understand it's tough to do that to a young guy. It's like, well, the only time I get to face a lefty is against a really tough left-handed reliever. I get that, but when you just look at the numbers, if you were to, I don't think they'll face a lefty starting for Detroit in this series, and that's good news for Kaggs because he's a strong-sided platoon guy right now, where he's going to face a lot of righties this year. And when there's a lefty out there, he's got to be better than he has been because Starling Marte, it's not like he's tearing the cover off the ball, but he's hitting north of 300.
Yeah, he's hitting singles, but
he's
hitting
doing
the ball.
he's doing his job.
Yeah.
And that's where Kaggs, I think, his one hit that was memorable was Drew Pomerantz when he came in there, hit the 2-run home run to tie the game. But overall, it's like when you're striking out nearly 50% of the time, I'm not sure you could justify, hey, it's every time we got to play him.
No, you're right. 132, 195, 184. For a 379 OPS. That's Vinny.
Yeah, right.
That's Vinny.
Oh, agreed. But the back of the baseball card also tells you Vinny
And last
with
year,
30 home runs and 100 RBIs.
212, 250 on base, 364 slug. I just
30 home runs and 100 RBIs
against righties. 26 of the home runs were against righties last
Right.
year.
But
80 of the RBIs were against righties
Great.
last
So
year.
take Vinny's bat out of the lineup, and
I'm
whether
not
it's a lefty
saying
or
take it
righty,
out of the, but the point I'm
the
making,
point.
I don't understand how Vinny just gets a pass versus lefties, and Kaggs somehow is unplayable as we're watching a guy hit
Well, he's not
132,
he's not
184
unplayable.
slug.
But he's not unplayable. He's had 25, 30 at bats against lefties, so he's not unplayable. He's literally played. The biggest moment was against the lefty. He didn't get taken out of the game for a lefty, so he is playable
And
in
it's been
certain spots.
shockingly, as bad as Jack has been versus lefties, it's been drastically better than Vinny.
It hasn't been drastically better than Vinny. It's been one at bat carrying the entire weight for Jack.
I would like to see one at bat from Vinny do that though.
Okay, great. Take the one at bat from Vinny away, and I
You can't take it away though. That's what I don't understand. Why would we take it away? It happened.
Well, it probably comes down to more too of lineup construction. There's nobody else to put it first in place of Vinny, where there is somebody in right field.
Kaggs.
Well, do you want? Kaggs hasn't played first base since I think he has like one inning this year. You could do that.
It's extremely easy to play first base. Tell him, Jason.
It's very difficult. If you take one at bat away from Vinny against a lefty with a home run, his OPS or his slugging drops 30 points. You take the home run away from Jack against the lefty, his slugging drops 200.
That's because fewer at bats because they're not giving him an opportunity.
Right, but that's the point.
What are you doing?
But see, here's the thing. You're saying don't take the bat away, and I'm saying all you're living off of is one at bat. Like if that at bat doesn't happen, you have zero justification for ever playing Vinny or Jack against lefties.
The average is still it's still double. It would still be double Vinny.
What's Vinny's average against lefties?
129, 132.
Okay, 174 for Kaggs.
No, because he'd be 5 of 23.
174
Instead of
for
6
Kaggs.
of 24.
174
That's
for Kaggs.
75 points.
174 for Kaggs, as opposed to 217 or whatever he is now.
He's 250 right now versus lefties. He's hitting 250 versus lefties.
Did he get a hit yesterday against lefties?
It'd be 218 if he took the home run away, which, again, I don't understand why we're taking a home run away. I don't get why
And I don't understand why your entire argument is based on one at bat.
It's not based on one
Yes,
bat.
it is. It's based on one at bat, dude. He's got an extra base hit one time.
Which is one
And
more
one
than
at bat-
Vinny. He has actually two
That's-
doubles, too. He has 3
Right,
extra base
then
hits.
what has Vinny done last year? What did Jack do last year? What's the entire view of Jack against lefties last year and this year versus Vinny in his
Vinny
career?
does have one extra base hit. It was that triple.
Great.
so we can get the triple away.
Great, take
It's even
that
worse.
away. Take that away. Awesome.
What?
Then take Vinny out of the lineup every day and put Jack in the lineup every day against lefties.
That's
See
what
how
I'm
it works
saying.
out? Yes, it is what you're saying.
I'm not saying every day. I'm
Yes,
saying
you're saying he never plays when you know he plays. You know he plays. So you're exaggerating by saying he never plays, while I'm exaggerating and saying, well, you're wanting him to play every day. So it's the same exaggeration by saying he never plays against lefties. You can't say he never plays against lefties and then give me the numbers against lefties.
I'm saying
it would be 0.
People are saying if you want to win now, and we don't care about the
If I
growth
want to
of
win
Jack
now,
or
I
Carter.
don't need Cags in there against lefties. If I want to win now,
I don't need Vinny in there against lefties. Then
I'd rather have Vinny in there against lefties than Cags. I'd rather have Vinny in there against a lefty than Cags. If I'm trying to win right now. Neither one of them have come through. One of them at least has a track record of being good over the course of a number of seasons and has a 30 home run, 100 RBI season and could have had 2 if it wasn't for the broken thumb. I just don't understand how Cags is viewed as like this great answer when, by the way, he was viewed as the same thing last year.
I'm
as
not
the
saying
answer.
he's the savior. I'm not saying all of a sudden the Royals be 25 and
I know,
12.
but
of
he
them.
played yesterday, and he did nothing. In fact, he was a big at bat as to why they did nothing.
Sure.
And that was against righties. Imagine if it was against a lefty. Oh, he wouldn't have come through. Just like he did yesterday.
Maybe he would have.
Just like he didn't yesterday. Yeah, if he had one at bat. That one at bat. Thank God he's got the at bat for Drew Pomeranz.
I still
because
think if you ask
that is
pitchers-
carrying every ounce of water for Cags this year.
Ask a
Doing
ask a
much of
pitcher
anything.
Who would you rather face, Cags or
Cags.
or
Ask him-
Starling Marte? Hey, by the way, this is not a Starling Marte because I think he's done.
Well, if you want to win
he's
right,
done
if you want to
his
really
job
want to win right now, you would play
right now.
Starling Marte more. You'd play Lane Thomas more. If you really want to win right now,
I would also put Lane Thomas
Offensively.
lead off over. I would move Garcia down because Lane Thomas has the highest on base percentage on the team. He's not getting you many hits, but he gets on base at a 381 clip. That's a
so
guy
he should
you
be
want.
playing every day.
Him or Kyle?
No.
Kyle's
He should be
started to go
playing
back
every
a
day.
little bit down.
Yeah, he's got 40 points better on base percentage than Kyle does this year. Lane Thomas does. So why would you want Cags to play more because he's got a better numbers against lefties than Vinny, but you don't want Lane Thomas to play over Kyle Isbell all the time when he's got 40 points better on base percentage?
Because one guy's phenomenal defensively.
Okay, so it's the overall totality.
I
of it.
think we can agree with
So
that,
it's-
right?
Yeah, so it's the outfield, infield. So you're saying that by Vinny playing less against lefties, you're okay with Salvi playing first. Because I tell you, there's
By the way, I'm okay sitting Salvi for a little bit right now.
there's a much bigger gap.
Don't get that conflated.
A much bigger gap at first base defense between Vinny and anybody else than there is with Kyle Isbell and anybody else in center. Because Salvi is bad at first. It's not that he's not good. He's
you can sit Salvi
terrible.
for a day or two, and I'm not going to have any qualms.
That's fine, but defense matters too. So that's why Vinny's playing, because his defense at first is pretty damn good, and you see it when somebody else plays first. So he
Sure.
plays every day. Jack's been good in right field, absolutely. He's been good.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been Clemente to where you can't take him out of the lineup because his defense is amazing.
Sure.
So it's the totality of the whole thing, just as Kyle Isbell over Lane Thomas.
It'll get to the point, too, where, I mean, I think the Royals' perfect scenario is that both Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione get to a point where you say, it's just our lineup every single
That'd be
day. I
awesome.
mean, there would be, Starling Marte plays once or twice every week and a half. Really.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what you're hoping it gets to. But I also think in today's game, there is a delicate way of, it's not really the old school way. I go across baseball, too. It's not really the same way where it used to be with Ned Yost, where it's like, we're going to keep Escobar in the lineup leading off every single day, and people are going, why aren't you pinch hitting for it? He's hitting 220. And it's like, well, he's got to face these guys. And I do believe to an extent that is what you have to do. Like, I would not want to see in a spot where, unless it's some elite left-handed reliever, it's like the sixth inning and it's bases loaded, the Royals are down 1 and they go to Starling Marte. I'd rather see Jack Caglione get that opportunity. Now, right now, if it was a ninth inning scenario, runner at third, and you bring in a guy like Sabrowski coming in,
Yeah.
you have to think long and hard about it because you are playing the stats there, or Vinny for that matter. You know, like now, in seeing the way Mac Quatrero manages, I think he would go with the track record and say, we're going to keep Vinny in there instead of pinch hitting, of Nick Lofton or a Starling Marte. But you have to handle this more delicately where it's Cags has had, by what he did last year, a pretty good start to the season.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that confidence stays there, where if he continues to go out there and you see some of those slumps, I mean, anything north of a 40% strikeout rate against either hand, that can be deemed as unplayable. It's got to improve from there, but I firmly stand by those opportunities, even if it's one at bat in a game against the reliever, or you do stay in there against a lefty. You got to show that the at-bats are getting better, because there are left-handed pitchers going up against them saying, this should be my automatic strikeout. In fact, you could maybe even go as far to say you might walk somebody to get to him because of how he is faring against lefties. I'm not saying it would be the logical thing. He's had some big-time hits this year, mainly against right-handed pitching, but you have to have this development process work where by July, it's not a matter of do you play him today. It is he is playing. Because like Vinny did, Vinny got to a point where he's one of the main guys you keep in the lineup every single day. Kaggs has to get to that point. Right now, as we can tell from the way they're managing him, he's not that guy. He's a strong-sided platoon that has to improve against lefties. How you go about doing that, in my opinion, it's starting by winning those small sample sizes. Then you get the larger sample sizes.
Yeah, I want Kaggs to play more. This is the thing. It's like, I don't think Kaggs is the magic elixir. I don't think Kaggs against lefties says he should be playing every day against lefties. I want to see him get more opportunities against lefties. I just think we're looking at bat and doing a lot of heavy lifting in that particular at bat. I hope he gets more opportunities and comes through more, so that, like you're talking about, Jack, every game Jack's in the lineup and it doesn't matter righty-lefty. You're not taking Bryce Harper, not comparing the two, but you're not taking Bryce Harper out because there's a lefty on the mound. You're not taking Juan Soto out because there's a lefty on the mound. Right now, you're not taking those guys out of the lineup when you sit Jack Caglione. Against lefties, you're actually getting better that day in the lineup. But there is a balancing act of wanting to win now while also saying, is this guy just going to be a strong side platoon, or is he going to be an everyday hitter? And you can't find out if he's an everyday hitter if you don't play him against lefties more often than you have. Sterling and I are in total agreement with that.
There we go.
I think we're 98% in agreement, and that 2% really pisses me off.
I know.
You know what you've been? It's a co-regulated. You've been a pain in my vulgus.
That was enjoyable to watch, by the way, from this angle too.
Vulgus
Back and
extension
forth.
overload. It's the creatine.
He wanted to pull a Sabrowski so bad on me.
No, I would not do that.
Man.
I like you too much. That was a vulgus extension overload there that we just had. I think so. I'm not sure.
That's what makes it interesting to listen to, though. Nobody's monotone over here. There was some intensity in that.
Why are we arguing about Kaggs? And this is sports. We're such dorks, man. I swear to God. Let's get into the Pokemon discussion next. Should we?
No.
I don't even know what it is. But I know we got to let Jack go. Jack, thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it, brother.
Of course.
We'll get back into later on in the show Cole Reagans and Carlos Estevez and what that may mean, the concerns there, and we'll talk with Matt Derrick as well, some football. Sterling's got some things to tell you coming up next.
Well, let's talk a little basketball, and now I'm going to be sad because I have to talk about the Sixers who perpetually let me down. Thanks, guys. It's been like, I don't know, 10 years? Can we do something for me? You went from 10 wins to this, though. That's at least progress. And right now, though, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Maybe just bet against the Sixers. That might work for you. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action, from player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. Everything you need is all in one phenomenal, simple-to-use app, so do not miss your shot. A couple games on tonight at 6 o'clock, Knicks and Sixers. Embiid is questionable in this one. Shocked. At 8:30, though, you have the Spurs in Minnesota. Spurs punked the Timberwolves last time out. Well, now this game shifts back to Minnesota. How is Game 3? Some say pivotal. How is this game going to play out? So head to FanDuel.com/local to get started.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And another thing, Sterling, I think the Chiefs should make sure that Mansour Delane never plays against left-handed quarterbacks. I'm just saying, like, I think when they play Atlanta and Michael Penix,
how funny would that be if you're like, we don't play him versus left-handed quarterbacks. We don't. Yeah.
He's the worst against left-handed quarterbacks in the league.
He's a platoon corner.
Yes, this running back is terrible when he gets the ball handed to him with the left hand as opposed to the right hand. He doesn't see the holes the same. And when you go up against, although we did talk about it with left-handed centers, snapping the ball. This is we were trying to look in the break. I even asked Curtis about this because he and I spend a lot of time on Baseball Reference. He spends more time on Baseball Reference than I do. But we're trying to figure out, like, Vinny Pasquantino, what he is against left-handed relievers versus left-handed starters. His total home runs against left-handed pitchers overall is listed as 11. But against left-handed starters, it's listed as 14. So how could he have 14 home runs against starters but 11 home runs total against any lefty?
So the only one that's messed up is home runs
and triples.
But I did a number of hits versus plate appearances.
Yeah.
He's hitting 111
against left-handed relievers.
He's 8 of 71.
That's good or not good? I'm not good with that.
He's shockingly good against left-handed starters.
Yeah.
But he apparently, according to what we found, is 8 of 71 with no walks, according to this, against left-handed relievers.
You know, Justin Simmons was 8 and 71 as a Bronco against the Chiefs. At least that's what I think he was. That may actually come out like he was 1 and 16. That's close. If you extrapolate that out, 1 and 16, it's pretty close. It's not far off. That's my transition to football. Hi, Matt. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Hello, sir.
Hello. I was just reminded
Yes.
as I was driving in, listening to the world's happiest broadcasters.
Yes, WHB. Beep. You were reminded that sports radio was arguing over 1 or 2% of a disagreement.
You guys are the best.
And ignoring the 98% that you totally agree on.
That's
we are
life,
in alignment
dude.
on 98%, but that 2%, I want to strangle you, and you want to strangle me. That effing B.
It's a lot more.
I should have got an effing A in that class. I wasn't calling it the effing B. I said I should have got an effing A.
Actually, what I was thinking was you're both F and B's. So
That's probably what a lot of people were
Hey,
thinking.
that's passing, baby.
That's exactly right. Yes. You know, B's and C's get degrees, baby. You know what they call the guy who finished last at med school? Doctor.
Do you think anyone was listening? It was getting swayed back and forth like, no, you know how like Jason. No, wait,
Sterling makes a good point. Okay, well now Jason's got me. Oh, now Sterling's got me. I don't know which way to go.
How should I feel?
I'll admit, though, I'm just totally different subject of the Royals part, though.
Yeah?
I disagree with all of you.
Yes.
Because I'm an old school baseball guy here.
Yeah.
I don't know what the whole millennial generation thinks and what's after the millennial generation.
Kids and their rock and roll music.
Project Alpha, whatever we're calling that thing and everything. But, I mean, back in the day, I mean, if somebody had called George Brett and he was struggling, he was like 1 for 32 or something, and somebody was like, bleeping B when they struck him out and everything, Brett would have gone out and put him in a headlock and punched him a few times.
I think he might have. And then the umpires would have broken it up and baseball would have said, okay, now go play ball.
And,
no one's tossed. No suspensions.
No, nobody would have been tossed or anything like that.
Like the third base spiked.
Hey, if you did that 7 more times, I might give you a strong warning.
Yes.
Hal McRae, for no reason whatsoever, would have just gone out and grabbed like Willie Randolph and shaken him upside down. And
Brian McRae would have charged the other dugout.
Oh yeah,
Like he did.
the people would be coming out of the bullpen cars and fighting and everything. It'd been great.
God, they would have driven in the bullpen cars. Yes, with the little baseball thing on. It looks like a baseball. It's a golf cart baseball looking thing. They would have.
Gosh, it was great when like Dan Quisenberry would come in the sedan and everything. That was awesome back in the day. But
it is a little different though when like Mason Miller comes out to corn. Are you ready? As opposed to coming in on the baseball bullpen cart, coming in to close out the game. A little different when the lights are flashing, it's dark, and he's coming in it. Or he's like, oh Jesus, we gotta face Mason Miller.
Yeah, blinded by corn.
Yeah, here comes the guy in the bullpen cart. It looks like a baseball.
When did that become a big thing? When did baseball walk-in songs like that? 'Cause obviously Trevor Hoffman.
Was it Trevor Hoffman maybe, or
that was
Mariano Rivera?
I mean, and that was at least
Sandman,
20
Hell's
years
Bells.
ago, right? That's
it was
20
I
plus.
feel like it was late 90s.
It had to be at least after Metallica.
Yeah, we know that.
I mean, it was after. It was obviously after everybody's stadium went from having an
Baltos.
organ, and
Yeah, that's true.
that they actually decided, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're actually going to pay for some music licensing here and put some speakers in so we can actually play songs.
Nobody's intimidated by the organ.
Organ was great. Though.
I know,
it was
but nobody
the same
gets,
three
you don't run in from the
songs.
bullpen to the organ
Dun, dun, dun,
and
dun,
feel
dun,
good about it.
dun. Charge.
Well, legend has it 1972.
Nope, it had
a
to be
guy
after
named
Metallica.
Sparky Lyle.
Nope. Jordan
Guy
Lyle's
named
dad.
Sparky Lyle. You say that like you have never heard of Sparky Lyle
I mean, Sparky
before.
Lyle. Come on, man.
Oh, well, that's different. That's all organist. It came in with pomp and circumstance.
Oh, well, see.
That's just like
That doesn't count.
That's just a
Yeah.
waltz.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
Right. Yes. And all of this stuff surrounding that is just pomp and
I
circumstance.
mean, if somebody did
The
it
fact that they lost
before,
the game.
if somebody did it before with an actual song. other
Okay,
than
here we
Enter
go.
Sandman.
1980s
Nope.
Mitch Williams,
Wild
Wild
Thing,
Thing.
yeah.
Yep, there we go.
But even they
even that-
stole
yeah,
that.
they
They
stole
stole
that.
that from Ricky Vaughn.
Right, that's true. So was Major League
the first thing to
Rick
do walkout
Vaughn?
music?
Carlos Estevez was the first ever walkout music.
Okay, the modern era, though, the trend became iconic in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Rivera Hoffman?
But Hoffman, Rivera,
Billy
baby.
Wagner?
Hoffman in 1998, the guy that always follows what Hoffman did. Rivera did it in 1999. Trevor Hoffman, the GOAT.
Yeah.
He did it all by throwing changeups. Yeah, sure, you can throw fastballs and cutters. I'm
came
going to
out
throw
to-
78.
He came out to Hell's Bells throwing 82 miles an hour. Boy, that is.
I saw that in person
irony.
as a kid. I went out to San Diego and saw him close a game, and that happened. That was still one of the coolest moments of my entire life watching that.
San Diego might have the two baddest walkout closers songs with Hell's Bells and then Mason Miller coming out, striking out, 72 guys in 30 innings and, not walking anybody and just throwing 104 past you, coming out to or just that chaos. It just feels like chaos. Like, I got no chance. I got no chance with this guy.
You listen to Korn.
Yes.
I love that. That's making a
Then the
comeback.
Royals had MacArthur, and he was like, "Let's all go play some baseball."
And I
Whatever song
get
he
it.
used. Yes.
In these situations, same thing. You know what? If this guy, if he's striking out all the time and everything like that, and you get annoyed by the walk-up music and everything, one pitch comes too close to me, I'm going out and charging the mound.
Should football players?
Should Patrick Mahomes have a walkout song when it's time to start the drive? Look at that!
We're back.
Golly!
Oh, dear,
that was
man.
unbelievable. We always finish each other's sandwiches.
Oh my goodness. Man, you two.
Should quarterbacks get their own walkout music to start the
man.
drive instead of ding 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 ding
Fourth quarter, 13 seconds left. The final drive is the closing drive.
The lights are going crazy, right? The spotlight's on Mahomes. The team goes out there and huddles by themselves, and then Mahomes talks to Andy and EB. Lights go out, turns around and walks onto the field.
You guys are the best.
That would be amazing, right?
I'm picturing Kyler Murray going out, wherever he's going to play next, and his walkout music is "Why Can't We Be Friends?"
It should be The Little Man by Alan Jackson.
See, that's the thing. If
Diego Pavia. What's the
Dancer.
Oh, jeez.
what's the one by Little People
Short
by
people got
Short
no
People
reason to live.
Now we're on one, yeah.
We are
man,
on
you
fire,
two,
man.
you need to get a room at this point.
That'd be whatever the theme song is to the video game he plays.
Call of
That's what
Duty?
it'd be the Call of Duty song. I don't know if there is a Call of Duty song or not that plays in the back.
The entrance.
I have no idea what that is. That would be Kyler Murray's.
My favorite quarterback would be whoever goes out to the final countdown. So
Yeah, that would be great though. That's in the final drive.
there you go.
That'd be great. Or
Probably get Europe to do it. They'd probably do it.
You'd probably be horrified at what most quarterbacks would choose as their walkout music. So
there's one obvious one. Caleb Williams would have to come out to Sirius. As being in Chicago, like he would have no choice. Like that would have to be his walkout song. And it's just any Chicago quarterback. It's just the quarterback is interchangeable. The song remains the same with that. All right, let's get some seriousness out of the way. Then we'll break and we'll come back and get to some other things. So this will be a great transition because I was going to start with this, get out of the way, and then move on to like mini camp observations. So let's end the segment with this, break, come back with rookie mini camp observations. Dave Merritt, The charges have been dismissed without prejudice, which technically doesn't mean that the case is completely closed.
Could be refiled, yes.
Could be refiled with some corrections and things like that. With prejudice would mean like, did not happen, nothing here. We're my bad. we're sorry about any of this. Andy Reid said, God, was it Saturday when he said Dave's been completely honest and upfront since the beginning with this whole thing. He was at rookie minicamp. What do you make of this thing? And do you feel like it has been dismissed without prejudice, that this is now put behind him, and he can go on to being, the coach, and this can be something in the past for the Chiefs?
I mean, given the nature of the charges, you would like a little bit more transparency, I think. But this action that the prosecutor and the district attorney's office ended up taking was at least consistent with what I had been told behind the scenes leading up to this.
And that was?
Which was that this was a more nuanced incident than has really been portrayed so far, that there was a lot of extenuating circumstances, that if and when the facts have ever come out, then it won't look the way that people think that it is right now. So I don't know the nature of that. That's all I've been told at this point, but that was consistent with what the Chiefs were never concerned about, really, this. I mean, they knew what the situation was from the beginning. They were involved with it. They were obviously standing behind Merritt and his family in this case and waiting to see and I would assume that with, the charges being dismissed, that at this point that there's not going to be any action from the NFL. There's not going to be anything. I mean, there still could be a slap on the wrist of some sort from the NFL under the conduct policy, but I would doubt it.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like there's much there. So, and like I said, I mean, nobody behind the scenes at the Chiefs, they took it seriously, but they weren't concerned about it. They just didn't think that it was going to end up being anything that proceeded.
And we know the Chiefs have some leniency if there's upfront truthfulness when the facts come out and they feel like there was honesty with it. I think with every team, there would be a bridge too far for somebody. But if Andy's like, he came in completely honest from the get-go, they know the facts, the prosecutor, district attorney say the same facts, what Dave told them, they dismiss the case, we're good, we move forward. Unfortunate incident, whatever took place, but clearly they did not feel like this warranted any charges being brought or something like that. So now the Chiefs go back to being the team that they were with their coaching staff, and we'll talk about what that means on the other side of the break. Matt Derrick was there at rookie minicamp. Observations from that. Alohi Gilman talked yesterday. I tweeted out before the show in previewing what we were going to talk about, that listening to Alohi Gilman talk explains why the Chiefs wanted to go and target Alohi Gilman. So we'll discuss that. Juwan Jennings signs a contract for roughly $12 million less per year than he was looking for. And Matt Derrick is the only person in the world that knows when the schedule release will happen. Is that right?
I wish I knew.
Cynthia Freeland was on yesterday, and she's like, I don't know. Or on Wednesday, she's like, whenever they release the schedule, I don't know when that is. And she works for the network.
We got to sell all the games until you can put the schedule out.
Could be Wednesday or Thursday, and it could also be the week after that. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, we continue on a Friday edition. Supposed to be maybe a beautiful weekend, maybe Sunday. Gorgeous. The Sunshine State. Gorgeous. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. All right, Matt, you're out there at rookie minicamp. Tell us everything that you can take away from how great these. Who was the Hall of Famer playing out there? How many All-Pros for Mansour Delane? R. Mason Thomas, 12 or 13 sacks this year. I'll ask you that. Peter Woods, first or second team All-Pro in year number 2. That's a big question. And does Cyrus Allen pass 1,000 yards through week 13 or 14 this year?
Clearly the over on all those questions.
Thank you. That's what I thought, and you got that all from watching him run around.
Everybody out there in their shorts. That's right.
But in all seriousness, everybody knows what goes into that and everything. What observations can you or did you take away from watching him for a few days?
Yeah, I mean, really, from the draft class, no criticisms. Everything was good. Looked good. Now, I always say this was the caveat of a couple of things. I mean, one, it's a passing camp, so
yeah, right, yeah.
You know, that's what it is. So you know, hey, you gotta grade the defense on a curve. From our perspective at least, especially because like even when they're doing drills and the defensive line and offensive line are doing their work, they're 140 yards plus from us.
Yeah.
In the media, so. You know, we're not able to grade them like the teams are, and we don't get the film of the overhead and the all 22 and everything. So you have to take that with it's really difficult to grade the interior players and the big guys in the middle and the line guys. But that being said, I mean, you know, with Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas, you could see the get off. You could see the explosion, the speed, the twitch. You know, that was there.
Yeah.
So I think that looked good.
That's good.
You know, like I said, it's a passing camp. Well, the good thing is that the best receiver on the field was Cyrus Allen. I mean, it was not close either. I mean,
the little clips I saw are like, well, that's a couple of them were like punt returns, and like he turns a corner and then he turns it on. I'm like, well, that was a burst.
Yeah.
Like I know it's just in underwear or whatever, but you could tell like there was a different level or a different gear that he shifted it in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
There. And it's like I know he didn't run a 4.3, but that looked like game speed, not just running a 40-yard sprint speed.
Well, and like you said, I mean, it looks fast, and he does look like he plays fast. Now, granted, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that he's going up against D-backs that are probably like have 4.5, 4.6 speed.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Undrafted for a reason.
Undrafted for a reason, but some of them do have speed. Maybe they just don't have size. So, I mean, it varies.
Yeah.
But no, he was the best receiver on the field, and like I said, it wasn't necessarily close. Xavier Lloyd, which I didn't even know he was on. I mean, I'm a Mizzou guy. I covered Mizzou games last year. I had no idea he existed.
They said Mizzou wide receiver Xavier Lloyd signed a contract, and I said, who?
Saw him Friday, and it
they
was
said
like
from Blue Springs, and I said, is he related to Brandon Lloyd? Nephew.
He is.
Turns
nephew,
out
yes.
he is related to Brandon Lloyd. K-State, Illinois State, Mizzou, like.
And that one great year at Illinois State. And then in between that, 3 years at K-State and Mizzou combined, 2-3 catches.
Yeah, for like 20-something yards.
Yeah, I mean, he had more catches each day of the mini camp than he did in those 3 seasons at K-State and Mizzou combined.
But I mean, which is unbelievable to then go to the camp and look like that. Because I think on Monday, Pete Sweeney on Monday with the New Day was on the show with them, and they were talking about rookie minicamp, and he was like, he said the same thing. You said Cyrus Allen stood out. He looked like there was a reason that guy was drafted, and they were asking about Jeff Caldwell, and he was like, I mean, I can see why he wasn't drafted. And then he said, but Xavier Lloyd stood out. He goes, there was another receiver there at camp, Xavier Lloyd, local kid. He's like, he really stood out. It wouldn't be surprising to me if they signed him to a deal. And then I think the next day is when they made that announcement, along with defensive back and then the tackle from Indiana. So. Yeah, he said Xavier Lloyd, and it didn't register with me at all. So
same. I'm a huge Missouri. I mean,
yeah.
I actually remember now him going because he went from K-State to Missouri,
well,
right?
K-State, Illinois State, Mizzou.
Yeah. Okay, but I still think I remember being like, oh yeah, former K-Stater. Had like a brief conversation, and then just completely just forgetting about it.
Yeah, no clue.
So Caldwell, no.
I mean, he would have been in a lower tier, and. I mean, there were some jokes at the camp and everything like that about Justin Ross 2.0 because
that's what I was joking about.
Big receiver with a lot of skills.
I was calling him Jeff Ross.
And then the poor kid, they put him in number 8. And
did they really?
Yeah. And
why?
Exactly. It's just like of all the numbers to give the poor kid, don't give him 8.
I mean, Justin Caldwell and Jeff Ross.
Hey, they can still change his number, so I would. But and honestly, and to be fair to the kid, I mean, he looked further ahead than Justin Ross did at this point in their respective careers, because I still remember Justin Ross's rookie minicamp, and if between the two, I would say, hey, if I'm going to bet on one of them to make it, I would be betting on Caldwell. That said, he's got a lot of work. I mean, so I sure hope that once again, I mean, I don't like to be critical, but I'm going to be a bit of a jerk here. The Chiefs did Justin Ross no favors. I mean, the fact that they were putting out clips and everything like that of his big plays,
and we talked about that.
And if you're going to do that and you don't actually balance it out with the bad plays too, then you're not giving the kids some fairness here, and just don't hype them up too much.
But I get it. There's interaction, and they knew when they put that out there, like, oh, people would be excited,
get engaged, and they're going to click on it and everything like this. But
it doesn't It doesn't do him.
If you don't show the drops and you don't show the miscues that you see, and like I said, I mean, the thing with Justin Ross, and why I was doubtful from day one with Justin Ross, is I see the guy go out there, and the football IQ was questionable because he goes out there, and I'm trying to remember, gosh, who was in his rookie class? I can't.
Cornell Powell, I believe. I think wasn't it Powell as well
with Justin Ross?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was one of the rookies that was out there with him and was like telling him where to line up. I mean. And there was a thing in this camp that you really didn't see that much. You saw some guys probably line up in the wrong place and run the wrong routes because it's confusing. And there was 78 tryout players there, so it's not all going to be perfect. But I mean, Justin Ross, had like the wrong shoes on, and
that was 2022, so that would have been Sky Moore.
Sky Moore. If you think about this, even in retrospect, Sky Moore at the rookie minicamp was telling Justin Ross he was lined up in the wrong spots and moving him around to help him out and everything. I mean, it said a lot about Sky Moore at the time and everything.
But also last year, Kevin Knowles was helping out Christian Fulton at times.
Well, and that's what teammates do, and it's not untoward, but it's just again.
But also a reason why Kevin Knowles was a guy they kept around, and maybe why Christian Fulton wasn't a guy they were overly excited to put in the game until they had to. So.
There you go. So, I mean, could Jeff Caldwell be sculpted into something, especially considering that I think that the Chiefs have superior coaching at the wide receiver position now?
No.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's a lump of clay. Long way to go.
Tim Grunhard was on with Soren and was talking about, because he was out there and was talking about his different observations, and he was complimentary about Emmett Johnson in pass pro. Now I don't know how much you can take away from that. You're out there, so I want to ask you how much you can take away from that. And is there a feeling with the Chiefs that maybe Emmett Johnson, that hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity necessarily to do that, and certainly has never had an opportunity at the NFL level against NFL linebackers to do that? But Grunny said, he was like, I can see that the guy is going to be able to do it. It isn't like I'm looking at him going, oh, God, that's terrible. Can you glean anything from seeing in the passing camp some pass pro from Emmett Johnson, which is vital for him to get on the field?
I mean, I'll trust Grunny's eye before I trust my own, but what you can tell is want to, especially since right now you're talking about just no pads, nothing like that. You're not allowed contact. And that can change things too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think you saw the willingness and the want to. I mean, it wasn't the guy that you saw out there that was just shrinking from anything, that was backing away. It looked like he's got the gumption to be willingness to go ahead and stick in there and take the hits. I mean, sometimes, I mean, especially when you're young, pass pro. I mean, Andy Reid has told me before. I mean, it doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to get the job done.
Yeah.
And so, hey, I mean, if you don't have all the technique down, that's one part of it. But the biggest part of pass blocking is just the willingness to sacrifice yourself and to make the play. And hey, if you get knocked down, you get beat up and everything, it doesn't matter if you get the other guy on the ground too. So, and there's no doubt. I mean, you hear him talk about it too, and pass pro. He at least he talks the good game too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think when the pads come on in late July, he's going to be a shrinking violet. I think he's going to be sticking his nose in there.
That was something that Burchard was lagging behind in, right? Last year as a rookie, or am I mistaken in thinking of somebody else that it was like, Burchard, you'd like to get him on the field on third down because he can catch, but they ain't putting him out there with what he looks like right now.
Yeah, I don't think it was even want to as much with Burchard. Again, it was experience and size.
Yeah, experience and size, yeah.
Once again, I mean, Emmett Johnson probably did more in college than he has, but not a whole lot more. But Emmett Johnson's also thick. He's got a little base and everything like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Brashard
Bashard's-
Smith is a wide receiver.
Yes,
playing, playing running back.
Yes, he looks like a slot playing running back.
Yeah, so he's a little thinner. So that was the one thing. Even when Brashard had the want to, he was so small and tiny that he could just kind of get moved out of the way.
Well, it's like I give credit, and we've done it before. Like one of the best tiny pass blockers. I loved watching Jerick McKinnon, pick up the blitz. But he was also 216, where Emmett Johnson is like 200 or 205.
You were also watching Jerick McKinnon in like year 9.
Yeah, right, I agree. But I think 10, 11 pounds, 12 pounds.
Makes a difference.
If Emmett Johnson is 200 and Jerick McKinnon was playing at 216, taking on a linebacker, that makes a difference in being able to stick your nose in there and answer the call and not just get bull rushed back. So he's a smaller guy, and he's also a lighter guy too than Jerick McKinnon was. And Pacheco was also around 215, 216. Both those guys were ultimate willing, I'm going to stick my nose in here and I'm going to take on the blitzer. So I never had an issue with McKinnon or Pacheco of want to go and block. And Kareem Hunt
as well, and
was
he's
always
also
good.
a bigger,
yeah, and he's obviously
sturdy
much more
guy.
stout guy. I think Emmett Johnson will want to. I just don't know how often we've seen a guy that's that sort of short and small that can take on a blitzing linebacker or a safety.
Clyde? What was
and
Clyde?
hold their ground. Clyde was thicker, though. Clyde had a lower center of gravity, but was also, it felt like he could anchor.
He was
a little bit
5'7", 208.
Yeah, so
Or
he was
5'7", 207.
yeah, still 7 or 8 pounds lighter than Emmett Johnson. So I don't question that. I just wonder how effective he will be at that.
And like I said, in year 1, I mean, if as long as he's willing to sacrifice his body to make the play, then he can be good enough. I mean, the technique will come later.
Yep.
DeMarcado's 5'9", 215.
Yeah, so that's
And
more.
he might be the at least first crack at
I think
third
he'd
down
be the
back.
first crack. Yeah. I mean, I think that would probably be the case because I don't think you'd want to put in Emmett Johnson when it's like, well, we're clearly going to pass the ball here, and we can't, and so he's going to go out on a route. A blitz, we're going to have to figure out somewhere else because we're not going to keep him in. Because it's not only because it's technique and want to, but it's also like, hey, this blitz is coming from over there, and you're lined up on my left side. As I take this snap, your job is to cross my face and go get that guy. And if that dude stays to the left and waits for a blitz, and the blitz comes from the other side, and his job was to go and cross the face of Holmes and go and get that guy over there, well, now the play is wrecked. And, well, he had the want to, and the technique just didn't have the understanding of that audible call and where the blitz was coming from and why you switched over there with this call as opposed to staying with the original one over there. Because that is a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And there's little things that these guys. I mean, it was pretty evident from watching this as a group. Maybe an individual there were probably some differences, but they threw out actually a bunch of screens. I'm not sure if I ever remembered the Chiefs running that many screens in a rookie minicamp before.
Is Andy going to get back in his screen bag?
It's possible, I suppose. Maybe that's what. Maybe
we
just
talked about that with
anecdotal.
Brashard Smith. Andy's going to throw these screens with Brashard Smith out there.
I am not sure if any of these guys ran screens in college. Quarterbacks, running backs alike. I mean,
offensive linemen
and offensive linemen. I mean, there was one center screen. I wish I had my notes here and I could tell you who it was. Quarterback probably threw the ball a shade early. Running back just never got their head turned around. Ball hits him in the back of the head in the helmet. I mean, things like that. It's like when Andy Reid says, usually if we get him after the third day, that he's usually like, I mean, it starts turning into real football at some point. But most of the weekend, it's like this isn't football.
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to hear from Alohi Gilman and what he's seeing from the Chiefs so far. We'll get into what to expect maybe from some other OTAs, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Derrick. I'm glad that he clarified with Andy when Andy was talking about the OTAs. Matt's always ready for those. Like, hold on, Andy. You're talking about this, but I want to make sure we're on the same page
Talking
as
about
to
practice.
why you're talking about
The game
OTAs.
I live for?
Yes.
That I die for.
Not a game. Not a game. Practice. How silly is that? I don't know. We'll hear from Alohi Gilman coming up next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Matt Derrick. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast on this Friday. Let's hear clip number 1 from Alohi Gilman and the newest safety for the Kansas City Chiefs. The next one hopefully in line in the Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed mold. Brian Cook is a Cincinnati Bengal. Alohi Gilman is a Kansas City Chief. And the press conference yesterday started off with him being asked about his first impressions of Steve Spagnuolo and the new defensive scheme he's playing in.
Obviously, a lot of respect for Spags and what he's been able to do in his career. I think just the amount of layers that he's had over the long career, I think that's, and the depth and the way that he's able to put together his scheme is probably the biggest adjustment. A lot of different little nuances, whether it's preference or scheme, stuff that he's been able to put together throughout the years. So I would say more just the depth of it. I've seen pretty much, a lot of most of the coverages since I've been in the league, but just the depth and the detail is definitely the biggest adjustment, and it makes it fun for me.
And then with so many new players in the secondary, including yourself, what do you think is most important to establish in phase 2 ahead of OTAs that start next month?
Yeah, for sure. It's just learning and growing. For me, it's a blank slate, so I'm just focused on learning, being able to gather the information, execute it, and make the mistakes that you need to, and then correct them, and just keep building and stacking. It's probably, like I said, the biggest amount of volume that I've had in terms of a defensive scheme. So it's a lot of extra time you got to put in. So right now it's just learning and growing and making a lot of mistakes. I've made a bunch, and I'm gonna keep making them. So I'm just keep working.
All right, there's Alohi Gilman and talking about Spags' scheme and saying that, look, that's sort of the thing, right? Is in the NFL, everybody knows the coverages. Like, there isn't some defense that's running a coverage that nobody's ever heard of before. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you've reinvented the wheel here. I mean, this mousetrap is much better than anybody has ever seen before. How has nobody thought of this coverage? It's the same thing like routes on offense with wide receivers. Like, well, no, the Chiefs' routes are different than other routes that people run. It's just a matter of putting those together, connecting them, game planning, scheme, and things like that. So he's seen those, but as he said, it's a lot more detailed and a lot more layered than some of the other defenses he's been a part of. And that's also part of, like, Jesse Minter's defense was almost more of a, and the Houston Texans certainly defense was more of a, yeah, we're going to keep it basic and let the guys fly around and play defense. So we're not going to have them thinking while they're running. That's going to slow them down. Where Spags is saying, I'm going to combine the athleticism and the playmaking with also trying to confuse the opposition, but it takes a while to figure that out. And Matt saying, making mistakes, and I'm going to keep making them, those mistakes, because that's sort of a part of it. But you have an idea of the defense that you're playing in and the reputation that Spags has, but how detailed it is compared to other schemes that he's been in, that it's not just a smooth, I'm coming in here, I know what I'm doing. No, I'm making a decent amount of mistakes right now, which is good. Keep making them. Keep making them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when you hear him and you see him, you actually see why the Chiefs targeted this guy. That, I think he's kind of, to me, a bit of a mold. And he kind of admitted this when I asked him about, what he learned from Derwin James, and he started talking about some of the other Rayshon Jenkins and some of the other, veterans. And I'd forgotten about the fact that it was his rookie year when Derwin James missed that year because he had the meniscus surgery in training camp. So, he ended up missing the entire year. But, he played with him for, 4 years after that, I think still. And, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's the Derwin James, Tyrann Mathieu type. He's got a little, I think, Justin Reed. There's some other guys he's probably got a little bit in it, but he's as he said, yesterday, he and Derwin James were kind of the yin and the yang. I mean, they were led in two different ways, but he still learned a lot from Derwin James, and I think you could even tell from his demeanor. I mean, he's going to be the quiet leader.
Yeah,
he's going to be,
sounds like it.
And right now, I mean, he made a big deal about the fact that he's the one that's learning. At some point, that's going to change. I mean, at some point, he's going to be the one that's teaching these guys how to play in the NFL.
Let's play another clip here because this one also, to me, speaks to maybe the mentality of working with the Chiefs and working with the coaches and probably what they saw from him and why another sort of element as to why they wanted to bring him in. Here is Alohi Gilman asked about what the interactions have been like with the coaches and the defensive back room overall.
It's been great. I think this is probably the best group of teachers that I've been around because that's what they are. They're teachers and they're builders. And so I've been able to dive into it and get just enough where it's kind of frustrating because it's a lot, but enough that it allows me to grow and to learn and get better and dive into the playbook more and more and in depth. I'm in a situation where, I'm the older guy, but the guys that's been around in the league, I know it's a young team, at least within my DB room. They're all smart. They all know what they're doing. They've been in the system for some time. So I'm learning from them, and I'm not afraid of that, of saying, hey, I need help. I'll pull them on the side. Hey, let's watch some film. Let's go do a little walkthrough right here. So it's a collaboration. I'm in the learning phase, so it's not about coming in here and taking over it, and there's none of that. I'm learning. I want to be a part of this. So that's all that it's been for me. And the guys have been great. They've just been open-armed and say, hey, what can I do to help? And everyone's been workers. So it's been really fun.
And I'm guessing that's probably like Jordan Hicks, Shamari Connor, guys like that as safeties, and maybe some others in the defensive back room that, he's talking, maybe even Nick Bolton, and other guys just being around them as seeking out help, not walking in with, all right, I'm the new free agent. All right, I'm the guy. I'm the quarterback of the safeties. I got it. I'm good. Hey, what do I do here? Can you help me with that? But also seeking it out and going, can we go watch film together? Hey, can we go do a walkthrough real quick? Which obviously helps because it's one thing to watch film. It's another thing to be sort of a visual learner and be more hands-on. There's another clip that I want to play as well, but we'll do that on the other side of the break. But I do like the fact that it's seeking out help, even from peers, when he's going to, Matt, eventually have to be the guy that tells everybody else where they're supposed to be. And that's going to be an interest. You got to be pretty confident in yourself to seek help from people, to have them help you learn, because in a few months, you're the one that's going to be telling them what to do.
And, this is a guy obviously has a high football IQ. You can tell it from listening to him. I had forgotten this part of his biography, though, that, he started at the Naval Academy and even went to the Naval Academy prep school for high school before going to Notre Dame. And again, Notre, hey, it's the NCAA. There's things that get fudged around and everything. You're not fudging anything at Naval Academy. So
the Navy. You better. That's incredibly difficult to get in.
Your P's and Q's. So
they're not letting random people into the Naval Academy, whether you're playing football or not. I don't care.
And obviously, Notre Dame's legit too.
Yes.
So but
depending on how good of a player you are,
right, and depending on how committed you are. Hey, Gilman seems like a committed guy to the whole thing and everything. And I think once again, I think it speaks to, the Chiefs having had so many resources to use in free agency this year on defense. And this is where they decided to put them. I think that is a pretty big signal because you think about all of the snaps that they lost from last year's team and the institutional knowledge that they lost from last year's team. And that they already had needs on the defensive line. They needed to, improve the defensive front, defensive end. They lost everything at corner. This is the guy that they decided was worth the money to bring in because they need guys. If they're going to spend money on free agents, they want them to be guys that are going to make other guys better, not necessarily just shore up one position. And I think that's why you choose, Alohi Gilman over maybe a veteran defensive end because, hey, Alohi Gilman has a better chance of making the guys around him better than maybe a veteran defensive end that's on the market.
But the defensive end can make the secondary better by getting pressure.
But
one hand washes
one
the other.
guy, it's...
One hand washes the other. You needed somebody at safety, certainly, and it was, do you pay the price for Brian Cook or look for value and traits that don't cost as much and bring him in and coach him up? And it's interesting when you talk about the brain drain to a degree with the players that are leaving with Cook and McDuffie and Watson and those guys with Justin Reed a couple of years ago. So in a matter of 2 off seasons, you've lost Justin Reed, Brian Cook, Trent McDuffie, and Jalen Watson from your secondary. That's starting secondary in just a couple of off seasons. The coaching staff is still there, and that matters, and that's a big deal because the Ravens a couple of years ago, when the Chiefs went to Baltimore and won in the AFC Championship game, that people in Baltimore still ask the question on Twitter, how did that team not win the Super Bowl? And then other people respond and just have a picture of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That offseason, one of the things that we discussed going into the year when the Chiefs were getting ready to play the Ravens in week number 1 was this won't be the same Ravens team at the beginning of the year as late in the year because they had a brain drain from their DC became a head coach. Their linebacker became a DC. Their defensive line coach became a DC for a different team, and their secondary coach became an assistant DC on a different team. So they had, 4 coaches? 3 of them leave, and another one advanced to defensive coordinator. And it took a little bit for that defense to look like it did the year before. They had roughly the same players, but all new coaches and different roles, it takes a little bit. That was a brain drain from the coaching side, and I think that's also where one hand washes the other. I don't know what's better, if you have a brain drain on the player side or a brain drain on the coach's side. I guess it sort of depends on how good the coaches are. And for the Chiefs, the coaches are pretty vital for what this team does on defense and in the secondary. Let's take a time out. We'll come back. I want to hear a couple more from Alohi Gilman. Jawan Jennings is a Viking. Could he have been a Chief? And we now know next Thursday, schedule release next Thursday. We will find out next Thursday night if the Chiefs are going to go to Spain or not.
Spain, more like pain.
If Clark Hunt gets his way. Barcelona. If Clark gets his way, they will be heading that way. When will Kenneth Walker be heading back to face his old team in Seattle?
Is it Barcelona or Madrid? I think it's Madrid, right?
It's Madrid, but I like saying Barcelona.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Because it's not as cool to say Madrid.
No, but Barcelona.
Barcelona. We'll throw it to break next. All right, a Friday edition of The Zone. We'll hang out with Mick Schaefer coming up later on in the hour. We got cuts before the show is over. We're talking some Kansas City Chiefs football as rookie minicamp finished up last week. We find out about 10 minutes ago that the NFL schedule release will be next Thursday night. So we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Let's play clip number 8 here. This is the one that I thought I was playing when I played the interactions with the coaches, the one that we played at the end of the hour, previous hour. This is the one that I really enjoyed hearing Alohi Gilman talk about the coaches overall, and he's asked about Dave Merritt's coaching style, and then he also gets into a number of things that I think it's fun hearing him talk about the mistakes that he's making.
You kind of look at the history, right? So you look at how long they've been with Spags. Coach Curtis kind of reconnected. They've been together back in the days, and Coach Merritt and Coach Spags. So you understand that they are very particular with the way that Spags and the system is run. So the teaching has to be a specific way as well. So I'd say that with them, they've built a system that's allowed them to really take it step by step so that people can build and get there, but by challenging them, if that makes sense. You're not going to build someone by just giving it to one step, one piece. You kind of got to give them at slow chunks that will allow them to see the whole vision. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And I said it even when I got, picked up here, like I'm a learner, so like I'm enjoying it, and some of it pisses me off. I even said it earlier, just because like it's a lot, and I'm going through this transition phase, and piss me off in a good way, just because I'm making mistakes and I'm growing, I'm learning. So I've enjoyed it, and I'm working with the coaches, and they're great. So I've been really blessed. Since there's no contact or nothing, we've had no football interactions in these OTAs. Just pure having some good walkthroughs and stuff where we talk ball and walk through some things, and I'll make some different checks that may be wrong. And to me, in my head, based off my experience, I've seen different things. I would ask questions like, why? What's the purpose of doing it this way? Is it preference? Is it scheme related? Is what X, Y, and Z? And once I get those answers, and it's not just from coaches, the players will tell me, like, Nick Bowen, hey, this is the reason why. Spanish likes it like this, boom, 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 boom. This is the verbiage. This is how we communicate. This is what the purpose is. So, in a way, it pisses me off, but it's a good thing because you got to make those mistakes, and I'm going to be making it as long, for a while until we get to the games. And when it's the game time, that's when it's time to go and execute. So I'm all full go. I'm going to make every mistake possible, and just continue to grow and learn. And the group has been good.
I'm a learner, but some of it pisses me off, in a good way. But also, okay, this is how I would make this check in the past. I've made it this way, and it's not right. Well, why? Instead of just, okay, yeah, I'll do it this way next time. No. Why, though? I want to know, is this a preference? Is this scheme-wise? What is it? What's the purpose as to why you want it done this way, as opposed to what I've sort of known it to be done as? Not calling them out and questioning them, but first of all saying these guys know what they're doing. There's a long history. They build it this way. But it's easier to teach if you understand the why. It's easier to acknowledge and understand what you're doing and what the coaches are teaching you if you understand the why of it. And I just, everything I heard from Alohi Gilman reinforced to me, like, people outside in the, covering the NFL and those that are looking at off-season acquisitions and players you lose, players you acquire, and it is viewed as a net negative that Brian Cook is gone, Alohi Gilman in. Because Brian Cook, if we're just looking at the generic model, Brian Cook, better player, Alohi Gilman, not better player. Brian Cook gone, Alohi Gilman there, Chiefs got worse. Where that may be the case. That may absolutely be reality this year, and we go, boy, I didn't realize you were going to miss Brian Cook that much, just as I don't think the Chiefs realized they were going to miss Justin Reed that much. But for the Chiefs and what Spags and Dave Merritt and what they would like to get accomplished, I don't think they view it as they got worse than a year ago. I don't think they're going to call out Brian Cook and say they got better, but they got different. better, worse, whatever. They got different, and maybe different in a way going back to a Tyrann Mathieu, a Justin Reed that is more in control of the defense and doing things from the cerebral part. Whereas last year, Brian Cook was good, and I'm glad that Spags sort of took the reins off him a little bit and said, just go make plays. Just go be instinctual and make plays. But it also wasn't the safety they were looking for in a Justin Reed or a Tyrann Mathieu. So nationally, Matt, Chiefs got worse at safety, and I think locally you can make the argument they got better or they just got different, not necessarily worse at safety at that spot.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and because I would have used the exact same language as saying that just they got different. Because Brian Cook was more of a vocal leader. He was more assertive. And I can't even say that for sure because we haven't seen Gilman on the field. But I'm going to bank on that just based on their personalities because I know that from an assertiveness standpoint on the field, Brian Cook was like a 9.9 out of 10. So there's not a lot of room to be above him. And Gilman
did Justin Reed say about Brian Cook, or was it Jaden Hooks that he said, well, he's loud. Even when he's wrong, he's loud.
Exactly. and even like Spags once I said, he's like, that's important.
Yeah.
Because it's as long as you're, it doesn't matter as much as you're wrong, as long as you're loud about it. He's okay with that. But yeah, I mean, they're different guys. They're different types of players. And and not that Justin Reed wasn't vocal, but he was more of a intellectual type leader too. I mean, he was the guy that kind of could help out everybody and know everything, and that's what Gilman wants to understand is the why, so that when he's explaining it maybe later to a younger guy and a rookie and everything, that he gets why they're doing it that way. But then again, the other part of it too is, Brian Cook, he was probably better suited as a strong safety that they needed to play free safety.
Yeah.
Logan Gilman's a natural free safety, and a little older. I mean, he's 28 now, so and he's on his third contract. So, it's not the usual free agent that the Chiefs have, but it's kind of what they needed. And we talked about it. I mean, a little bit more affordable than Brian Cook. You factor in the injuries issues, and then that probably is also another check in the box for Gilman. I mean, he's going to be a different player, but he probably is a better fit for this defense than what Cook was.
Does that help Jaden Hicks on the field then? Because is Jaden Hicks more of a strong safety versus free? And does that allow them to trust him more?
Allow Shamari Connor to do different stuff.
Or Shamari, yeah.
But absolutely. Good question.
It will be interesting with both those guys because especially with the fact that the Chiefs have addressed also nickel corner about 3 different times this offseason. So they got a lot of guys that can play the slot now that are not named Shamari Connor. So it'll be interesting to see how they play Shamari because Shamari is also, all those guys are strong safeties. I mean, Chiefs really didn't have a natural free safety last year.
No.
And
Mike Edwards was the guy probably.
And Mike got at a point where he's really getting on the field anymore, not starting for sure.
No, agree.
So,
I think that was kind of my point. That was the only way they addressed it was with 34-year-old Mike Edwards.
Yeah, no, I mean it was one of the things that last summer I remember talking to some people in the organization. It was like, okay, well, we'd love to have a free safety, we'd love to have another running back, and hey, you can't just in July and August wave a wand and manage to solve those problems, even in June.
How old do you think Mike Edwards is?
31.
I was gonna say 30 this year, but
32.
29. Well, he's gonna be 30 this year. Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
But I don't know why. I thought he was older than that.
He's been around a while. He's just
I think he's bounced around and played a lot. Gun for hire.
And
Sorry, Mike.
The Chiefs
You're younger than me.
Chiefs got him in his prime, which helped. So he's a little slower now than he used to be.
What at safety position? With
aren't we all?
Gun for hire with safety. You can't start a fire.
No.
Without spark.
His guns for hire.
That's right. I wanted to ask you this, Matt, and I thought we'd get into it earlier in the hour, but we definitely wanted to get into the walkout music for Patrick Mahomes first. This can dovetail into the signing that took place yesterday for the Vikings and Juwan Jennings. But we had a conversation yesterday on the show, Michael, Sterling, and myself, and we were looking at 2 positions to prioritize for the Chiefs if they could even make a move. And we're not saying they're going to make a move. They've got all this cap space. If they were to look at it and say, all right, we've got to move some things around to prioritize a position in the offseason this year, not even with a specific name, which one would you prioritize first, wide receiver or defensive end? They chose defensive end. I chose wide receiver. even going against my typical line of once you feel like you're good at defensive line, you should probably sign another one. Go get you one more. Oh, we're good. Get one more. What would you go with and prioritize, whether it's defensive end or wide receiver, if they had the ability or viewed it themselves and said, we're going to move some things around because we want to sign a guy to this spot?
I mean, right now, if you look at the free agent talent that's available, the cost, their roster, all those factors, I would favor wide receiver at this point. They've addressed defensive line a few times. I'm not saying they're done. I mean, you look at it, and you could certainly say they probably still need a body or two. I mean, right now, I mean, if they carry 10 defensive linemen on this team, there's a reasonable chance that one of them is going to be an undrafted rookie, and another one might be another undrafted rookie. Could be a guy that bounces around. That's a concern. But at receiver, you have had nothing but injuries the last few years, and right now, you are one injury away from maybe either Jalen Royals or Cyrus Allen stepping into your starting lineup. I mean, that's how thin the bench is.
Nico Remigio, something like that.
And you haven't really, I mean, that's another issue that's, I think the Chiefs would have loved to have addressed a return specialist receiver role and had somebody in kind of a dual role. Wasn't quite the way everything fell for them. I still think they might regret, even as good as I thought Cyrus Allen looked over this weekend. I'm still worried that they might have regret missing out on Kevin Coleman, who
the next pick
was the next pick.
Not even missing out on it, just skipping over him.
That was my thought, because he can be that returner.
Because he can be the return guy.
Yeah. And you think Cyrus can do that, or is that not much of a skill set?
They think he can, but then again, I mean, they've thought a lot of guys could return kicks and return punts, and
they thought Sky could, and then he couldn't, but then actually he can.
But I also thought it was like returning with Cyrus Allen. When he was asked about special teams, like, he didn't really mention returning. He was like, "Oh, gunner, I love doing that." And I think it had to be brought up to him. It was like, "Well, yeah, but what about returning?" "Oh, no, I could do that." But he was talking about,
hasn't done it in 3 years.
I love being a gunner on special teams. Like, I love that. Well, that's awesome to hear. But they were asking about return.
And if I'm not mistaken, not only has he only not done it in 3 years, and he did it at Louisiana Tech, and I think he only did it 12 times in his college career anyway. So, I wouldn't, if I was asked about special teams, I mean, he's done hundreds, I'm sure, of reps as a gunner. He just hasn't done it as a returner. He's not a returner. I mean, maybe they're going to try and turn him into one. And if they do, that solves a roster spot problem. But again, I mean, we've been down that road before, too.
Brashard Smith?
Brashard Smith is an interesting one because I don't know what his position is. I mean, they've got 3 running backs.
Yeah.
They could easily put together a roster of 6 wide receivers that doesn't include him. So do you just look at it and say, okay, well, we're keeping 10 of those guys, and one of them is going to be Brashard Smith, and he's going to get on the field occasionally at both spots and everything. I mean, But
they only activate 3 running backs on game day. So that would be, if they activate Brashard Smith, he'd have to be activated as almost a wide receiver.
It's a good call.
I mean, and right now, you have to have him activated because he needs to be a returner.
Yeah.
Nico may need to be activated because he needs to be. So you may be talking about having 6 wide receivers on game day.
It'd be nice if Cyrus could do it.
It'd be nice, but
he doesn't have a history of it, but it'd be nice if he could do it.
And you mentioned the speed again and everything. I mean, that's one of the things that if they're going to upgrade from Nico, they want somebody who's got some speed and some juice. And Cyrus is nice. I mean, I think he's more polished as a receiver, obviously, than he is as a returner. I'm just not sure if he offers us, a whole lot more juice, and he's certainly probably not going to offer you the reliability of Nico.
Would you have been interested in Juwan Jennings at the rate of 1 year, $8 million, up to 13? And I would say if the Chiefs were going to do it, let's create this scenario. The $5 million in incentives are, quote, not likely to be earned. So he only had 55 receptions last year, so 56 receptions. He had 643 last year, so 644. Played 15 games, so if he plays 16 or 17, things like that to get the $5 million would be viewed as not likely to be earned. Are you in on the Juwan Jennings signing of 1 year, $8 million for the cap $8 million hit this year?
I should probably just say definitely yes, because I was in on last year when he was a restricted free agent of the Chiefs signing him to an offer sheet and see if the 49ers would match it or not. And they decided not to go down that route.
Yeah.
I still think that probably would have been an okay choice. I mean, he had a fine year last year. Now I just wonder, you get sideways with the 49ers, which is they're a winning team. I mean, so I don't know. I always get worried about players who get sideways with winning teams.
What happened? Like, 'cause the expectation was, 3 for 60?
Like, he wanted $20 million per year. and teams were like, no, thank you. And then he doesn't even get a 2-year deal. Or maybe somebody was offering him a multi-year deal, but not at the rate that he wanted. So, no, I'm going to sign a 1-year deal, and then the year after this, I'm going to get a multi-year deal, which a number of receivers have tried, and that hasn't necessarily turned out to be the case.
Hollywood tried it twice.
Yeah, true. And he's still on the 1-year train.
I mean, honestly, if you want more than $8 million per, $12 million per, you need to put up more than 643 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
agreed.
Fine season, but it's not an elite season in any regard. So, should have been better. I assume that it's one of two things or both, which is that there's something in the medicals that we don't know.
Yeah.
That all the other teams know. Or two is that some teams have the same concern I do, which is that, well, I don't know if we really want to pay a guy who just got sideways with a playoff team. I mean,
yeah.
At some point, San Fran, though, wide receivers get sideways with him. Debo did, Ayuk did, now Jennings has. I mean, again, at some point,
that's a fair point. And then there's also, supposedly been the diva component with all of them. So does that
all
mean
three? I mean, wide receivers are
Jennings
divas.
Have a diva? Well, that's the
Jennings
problem.
doesn't
643 a yard, you can't be a diva.
But Jennings doesn't seem like a diva because he's so willing to block.
Yeah, great blocker, great point.
He's so good blocking downfield, which is a surprise that the 49ers wouldn't necessarily be in on him for more than 1 year, $8 million. He's willing to do that. The reason I felt like it fit with the Chiefs is ex receiver, but also a willing blocker, and he's played in the West Coast system for his whole career. So at least there would be some translatable verbiage between the two and some understanding and some scheme crossover there with Juwan Jennings. I thought it made a lot of sense. I'm not interested in Debo. I'm really not interested in Stephon Diggs. And
I'd be more interested in Trayvon than Stephon.
Yes, I agree. And I don't know that Tyreek will be Tyreek when he returns.
And I don't know when he's returning.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I don't.
Last report I heard was November, so I've got no interest in that.
I look at that contract. I don't care even if it was 643 yards and 9 touchdowns to what he did. If I were the Chiefs, I'd say, okay, I'll give you 10. Instead of 8, like I'm shocked by how low
it was. Roughly what they
it was.
Hollywood,
and this guy is a guy who was I think a souped-up Demarcus Robinson, where he can do all the blocking. You never have to take him off the field. He can do what Juju did on the blocking downs. Hopefully, he'll hold less. I feel bad because Juju is a very willing blocker. Last year, he got popped for a lot of holds. He's not going to be your slot, but that allows Rice to stay in the slot. Him on the outside, and then you have Tyquan Stills a depth piece, or him and Worthy, whoever shakes out as your deep guy. I'm flummoxed by.
Yeah, should we just go and write in Juju on this team when training camp starts?
That's what it feels like, though.
Juju will be on the team?
It is definitely feeling like that.
Yeah.
But then if that's the case, how much are you paying Juju? Is it still 4?
I can't imagine. I mean,
3?
Maybe.
But if that's the case,
you're 2-4.
But if that's the case, at that point you didn't spend that much different.
Yeah. Do they dare take a low risk, depending on the asking price, maybe high return on Ayuk with the 49ers? Do they dare go that route and go, well, Rice is going to be walking. The base salary for Ayuk ain't bad. And the 49ers can't get rid of him, so the asking price can't be near what they were talking about going into the draft. Do they dare go that route on a low risk, maybe high reward with an Ayuk?
I mean, I'm not getting that sense at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that, certainly the Chiefs are exploring a lot of their options in the free agent market, and they're talking to a lot of people. And price is probably the biggest point, because right now, I mean, they don't have a ton of money. If they want to invest in anybody and bring anybody in, they're going to have to restructure one of about 2 or 3 contracts, and that's always something they can do, and they're going to have to do it at some point because they don't have the money right now to go into 2026 and the regular season when it expands to 53 contracts and the whole roster and everything. So they're going to have to do that at some point. But then it's like, okay, if you're going to then tap in further to your emergency reserves. I mean, if this is like Hunt for Red October and you're trying to get, Jack Ryan on that submarine, you got to have that helicopter hang out, and invade that's only reserved for, period of war here. You're going to have to do something kind of drastic at some point. And I think you do it for a player that you think can move the needle. I don't think like Juju doesn't move the needle. Juju just extends your bench.
Yeah, that's all it does.
If you can get some guys that might either fight for your lineup or, be that fourth piece for the receiver spot, that would be big.
Didn't Jennings fit that, though? Isn't that what Jennings would have been? At
I
worst,
would have
he's a
thought
wide
so.
receiver 4 because of the blocking, but I think we would have considered him probably wide receiver 2.
And I'm with you. I mean, that's why I think that, and for what he signed for, it's telling me the Chiefs, if they weren't interested in Jennings, they're not on an island.
Yeah, it seems like there's something.
Yeah,
there's
that's right.
something there. And, and we talked about this one before, too, and it swings both ways. We've talked about the Chiefs have a big history of bringing in guys that they were interested in drafting, but somebody else got to them first, and then when they become free agents, Chiefs are involved in some way. I mean, they've traded for some of these guys. I mean, most of the players that Brett Veach has acquired in some way or another over the years have always been players that he was interested in from the beginning. If he's not interested from the beginning, he usually does not all of a sudden become interested. So players that they didn't like coming out because of a red flag back then or an issue or a character issue, and honestly, I mean, they'll take some risk and have with some draft picks as far as character issues. Not there's still a limit for them, but they draw the line pretty clearly on veterans because they just don't have an interest in adding a lot more chaos to the locker room than they already have.
So
Tyreek?
Yeah, go ahead and finish that one. And
I don't get the sense that they're really interested in that. I mean, I could end up being wrong, but especially when you just consider the uncertainty too.
Sure.
I mean, no one in their right mind is signing Tyreek until he's healthy, and he's not going to be healthy until at least September, October, November, somewhere in that time frame.
So I just want to clarify. I was looking at the base salary for Ayuk and talking about a cheap deal because his base salary is like $1.something million this year, but the bonus. Option bonus that would be a part of the acquiring team. So the particulars here, if the team exercises the bonus for Brandon Ayuk, they can prorate that through 2030, but that would add dead money to the cap because nothing else is guaranteed in the future. If they do not exercise the bonus, the acquiring team is then on the hook for it all at once, making the salary cap $26 million this year.
Out.
So yeah, zero chance. That whole thing would have to go away if somebody wants to trade for Ayuk. You're not trading for Ayuk coming off the injury, being a malcontent, and then saying, yeah, we're going to take on $26 million worth of a cap hit this year, or we're not going to exercise the bonus and we got to take the 26 and prorate it over 5 years. And if he sucks, then the next 4 years we're carrying, essentially, $8 million in dead money over the next 4 years.
You could have 3 Juwan Jennings. It's like the Glazilla dog. It's like the Rocky situation here.
But wait, there's more. Matt, the schedule release comes out next Thursday.
Yeah.
Are the Chiefs in Madrid against Atlanta?
I will at this point be stunned if they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, all the smoke seems to be going that direction. So
pain.
I'm going to bet on that.
All right.
Mid-November, get ready for your trip.
How many national televised games for the Chiefs the first 3 weeks of the season?
I'm going to go low. I mean, if you put the number,
So 0, 1, 2, or 3. Can't be 4.
I was going to say if you put the number at 1.5, I'm taking the under.
Me too. I would say 0, or I'm going to land on 1, but it being week 3. I think the NFL is going to hedge their bet because the Chiefs are still going to have 12 nationally televised games between Monday, Thursday, Sunday, 4:25, 3:25 kickoffs for the Chiefs. Christmas Day, maybe they'll play Christmas Eve too. They'll play on Thanksgiving
Halloween.
and Black Friday, Halloween. That's right. Veterans Day,
Memorial Day this year. It's weird.
Yeah, that is
Columbus
odd.
Day,
Yeah,
yeah.
July 4th. They're just going to get out there a little scrimmage.
Tuesday night football for some reason. Yeah.
They're going to introduce Tuesday Night Football, but it's going to be on Sling TV, and it's going to be the Chiefs. Acorn.
Clark Hunt goes, we want to be America's team, so we're playing on July 4th.
Yes,
We're gonna.
that's right. Tuesday Night Football on Acorn, exclusive Acorn, and it's the Chiefs.
Watch for that first game of the Wednesday night doubleheader, only available on Pluto.
That's exactly right.
Howdy TV.
Ones of NFL games for zeros of dollars.
That's right. So I'm going to say 1 and hedge my bet that it's week 3 that they have a nationally televised game. So if that's the case, does that mean this schedule is going to be backloaded with Bills and Chargers and Bengals and Seahawks and Patriots and teams that they don't want to put the first couple of weeks just in case Patrick Mahomes is not playing?
That would be the safe way to go, and I don't know if I'm the Chiefs what I want.
Yeah.
I don't know if if you're thinking that's the NFL's case, that they are going to backload the schedule, and I feel like Andy Reid, when he was talking about the schedule a few weeks ago, that he kind of made a reference there, because I think he was talking about I think he was asked about the Chiefs playing maybe week 1 against Seattle.
Yeah, going to Seattle.
Going to Seattle,
breaking out the ring ceremony again there.
And he's like, yeah, I don't think that, and and the NFL may not want to do anything with us early. And if I'm the Chiefs, do I okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead and take the backloaded schedule when we think Mahomes is going to be ready and cooking and everything, or do you say? Are you calling up the NFL every day and say, are you aware that Mahomes is good and ready to go, so we can play as early as you want to? Because
that's why they waited until today to announce it.
Maybe they want some dogs in December.
Or let me throw this at you. The Chiefs are saying, hey, no, we'll definitely do the opening night against the Seattle Seahawks there and ring ceremony. That's fine. Mahomes may not be playing. That's going to be a tough place to go anyway. And it's probably going to be nationally televised late in the season. You may lose that game regardless. Let's go ahead and get that thing out of the way early so we're not backloading Bills, Seahawks, Bengals, Chargers, Colts, whatever.
Fairly breaking news.
Fairly.
Referees Association, NFL, ratifies 7-year CBA to avoid work stoppage.
Right, long national nightmare over.
Nice job. So that was going to expire the 31st of May. So they had 23 days to get that done, and they got it done in record time. Usually the deadline spur action, but
my only question is going to be whether the NFL got some things that they wanted.
They had to sign on this early.
Because I tell you what, I mean, if the refs had gone on strike or there'd been a lockout of any sort, I mean, I think it could have been good for officiating.
Here's what I agree.
Because the NFL was going to start shoving a bunch of stuff on there as far as reviewing plays.
I was actually hoping there'd be some sort of a lockout or strike so that there would be way more eye in the sky. Let's correct some obvious mistakes on the field.
Full details of the agreement were not immediately available, but the NFL tied negotiations into several incentives for improving officiating, according to sources. Increase access to officials in the offseason for a formal training program during mini camps, training camps, and joint practices. The NFL will also develop a bench of officials and will have greater latitude to use performance metrics for postseason assignments rather than seniority.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. One quick one on the just to wrap up the schedule release for next Thursday and get your thoughts, Matt. Bills, Bengals, teams like that late in the season.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I mean, not late, but not too late.
Yeah.
You don't want to put them all in December, and then Joe Burrow and Josh Allen both get hurt, and now
right.
Those games are duds. So I'm putting October's going to be brutal.
I think so too.
I think Chiefs are going to have a bunch of marquee games in October
because they don't want to backload, but also they don't want to throw those marquee games at the beginning. I'm going to guess at Jets, home for Raiders the first 2 weeks of the season for the Chiefs.
I'll take it.
Not a bad prediction.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then they get into the bulk of their season, and then whenever they go to Spain to take on the Falcons, then the week after that will be the bye.
Justin Fields' revenge game.
That's what it is. Done and done. That's what it is. Yes, Justin Fields' revenge game. But it's not an easy schedule. But thank God they got the third place schedule to play the Bengals and the Colts this year.
And that is the only reason why the Chiefs will not be playing against Seattle in Week 1, because even as much as the Chiefs might like that and saying, oh, hey, you know what, if Mahomes isn't ready, we don't care. The NFL cares because they do not want Justin Fields starting on
It's not gonna
Thursday night. No.
Yes, not going to be Fields and Sam Darnold, the failed Jets quarterbacks, going up against each other.
Can you Fields it?
And until that Mike North interview that we were talking about off during the break with the Buffalo guys, I'd forgotten that because of Labor Day, the NFL season starts late.
That's right.
And therefore,
which helps Mahomes, by the way.
The first weekend is the second Friday of September, which is in the blackout period under the Sports Broadcasting Act that the NFL can't play games because it kicks in on the second Friday weekend of September. So they can't have a Friday night game.
That's a good call.
This year. But it's why that they're doing the Australia game on Wednesday most likely?
Wednesday or whatever that is, yeah.
In addition to the fact that it's like, you lose like an entire day.
Yeah. But I think that the first Sunday is like September 13th. So it's an extra week for Mahomes to recover to get back to play Week 1 than what it has been, recently. So that, does work out in the Chiefs' favor, and not having to go to Australia also works out in the Chiefs' favor. Matt, you're the man. Appreciate it as always, brother. Thank you for hanging out with us today, man.
Thanks for letting me hang out with the world's happiest broadcasters who love each other.
WHB. Boop. More Zone next.
Woo!
I would continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. Sterling Holmes with his broccoli and hot sauce again today.
Broccoli, sweet potatoes, and lemon pepper chicken.
And hot sauce, apparently. So we got
a lot of hot sauce.
Yeah, we got the smell of buffalo sauce and broccoli in the studio, so that's good. You ready for that, Seren?
There's nothing wrong with trying to be a little healthy.
No, I don't disagree with that at all. I think you're just trying to...
hard? Trying too hard?
How?
Well,
It's
no.
sweet potato, broccoli, and chicken.
No,
I'm just talking about your
I think you're
get-up
creating a straw man there when I'm saying, hey, that's kind of absurd, and you're going, "Pff, what? What's wrong with getting healthy?
Correct,
That's not what I
yes.
said. I didn't say that. Just saying, you can get healthy, just not with buffalo sauce and
Why do you hate CAGs? Is my point.
I hate abs, and that's why I don't eat that stuff. I'll just eat whatever the heck I want to. Mick, you ever had a Vulgus extension overload before?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I learned about it yesterday.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
Vulgus extension overload.
Yeah.
VOE.
I've never overloaded the extension of my Vulgus before.
I have video on demand. I know what VOD is.
Yeah. I've extended the Vulgus, but it's never been overloaded with an extension.
Not that you know of.
That's a good point. I might be dealing with it right now.
You might have it right now.
Yeah. It just is an undiagnosed
correct
extension overload of my Vulgus. Mm-hmm. So, which Sterling has been a pain in our Vulgus for a long time.
Long time.
Like right now with the... also, we could just call it pitcher's elbow, I guess. It's like, hey, he's got tennis elbow. Oh, okay. Makes sense. This guy's got a Vulgus extension overload.
He's got extension overload. Those pants on right now.
Pitcher's elbow. David Lesky tweeted out that Yordano Ventura suffered from this in 2014 and missed one start.
Okay.
Yordano Ventura didn't have elbow and shoulder and also a Tommy John before issue. So, I mean, we always take the settle out of court stuff. I mean, if he missed 3 starts, I would settle out of court right now, because anytime you're dealing with Cole Reagans and an injury or an elbow, like the way you predict future injury is by past injury. And he's a guy that's had to deal with this before. So my concern level for Cole Reagans on a scale of 1 to 5 is probably 5.2. Roughly 110%, Sterling, like you like to say.
Well, I think for me, what I would do is if he is going to miss even one start, and if Noah Cameron is fine and good to go.
Yeah. On Sunday, you have the ability with the loophole of, as Jack talked about in the first hour, well, then if you put Cole Reagans on the IL, you can then call up Stephen Kolek. And it can also be retroactive, too, the IL. So, but with an off day Monday, you wouldn't need somebody for a little bit. So you could skip Cole Reagans' start without actually having to have somebody pitch in his place with the off day Monday.
But if he misses more than 1 week, then it makes more sense to do this because this is your chance to get him up.
That's probably why they're not putting him on the IL, because they can skip somebody on Monday, and they can also retroactive the IL to the date of Wednesday.
Well, and if you wanted Avila to start or something like that, but if he misses more than one start and you can't call up Kolek because of the time constraints, well, then the only guy you can do is then at that point Billy Falter
or bullpen game
or a bullpen game. And I think we all. Well, Kolek's had a quality start literally every time he's gone out for the Royals. He's 6 for 6.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. But yeah, what's your concern level on a scale of 1 to 5 for the Coltrane?
It's 5.3. It's more than yours. Yes.
Always got the over the top guy.
Just this history.
5.25. You son of a gun, dude.
I was trying to do the math. What is 110%? Is that maybe 5.05? That would be maybe 110%.
Yes. What is it, Sterling? You like 110%?
It's fake, is what it is.
It's fake.
I like giving him crap because he hates it, so I'm like,
I hate when people say 110%.
I do too, actually.
He hates it with 100.
Common ground. Thank you.
But here's the thing, Mick.
The buttons on your shirt, the tightness of your
Sterling
pants.
hates when people say 100% to a level of 110%. He hates
how much
it.
you hate
That's
it?
how much he hates it. He hates 110% of people.
I hate it 99% tops. I don't know if you can do 100% anything.
That's
if you give
fair.
100% effort, you might die.
That's what I've always said.
Or you get really bad cramps.
That's the creatine.
It's the creatine.
Have we ruled out Cole Reagans and creatine?
Maybe. I don't know how much he. I
think it's creatine of the elbow.
Yeah.
I said it earlier that
I think he's cramping every time he gives up a homer.
His elbow is dehydrated. He's going to have Thirsty John. still going to pat myself on the back for that one.
Creatine Cole.
Remember that one day we went off on Tommy John?
It's one of my favorite days ever.
Is that Corey, too?
Yeah, it was Corey.
What happened?
Well, Salvi had the UCL of his thumb, and Mick called it Timmy John surgery. So then we just started coming up with different things.
I called it Timmy John?
Timmy John. Instead of Tommy John, it was his thumb. So it was a smaller one. So he's having Timmy John surgery. And then we kept coming up with all these different ones. And then my favorite one was Corey being a Thunder fan. And I said, oh, God, Corey. In all seriousness, I know we're joking around here, but Chet Holmgren just came up that he's injured his arm. He's going to have Scrawny John surgery. I loved that one. It was great. But the Timmy John was, oh my God, it killed. That killed the whole.
The best was, I said, in all seriousness, guys, my mother had it in high school, and she had to get Mommy John.
Mommy John.
That's what I was looking for.
Yes. Yes.
And then we found some Cuban pitcher that got Commie John.
That got Commie John, that's right. And Chet got Scrawny John surgery. And Cole Reagans is going to have Thirsty John surgery with all of the creatine. But I think it's a 5 for me, like in all seriousness, of Cole Reagans, just because there's a history there. And until you get past the history, he had 32 starts in 2024, finished 4th in Cy Young. He's had 21 since then. And it's been a groin, a shoulder, got hit in the hand. That sucks, unfortunate. Now it's pitcher's elbow. Like, I don't know, how does pitcher's elbow happen? You know, are you just tired? Are you overworked? Like, is it because you're throwing certain pitches? Is it the grip? Is it pitcher's elbow then leads to the forearm being weakened, and then now it's something in the elbow with the UCL?
Is it how you're made? I think there's guys that are just,
Probably
I watched Pretty Woman the other day. I have rom-com surgery.
See, he's been ignoring what we've said just so he could think of
rom-com.
I got it. I'm just trying to decide if I like it.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, we've moved on though.
7 out of 10.
Way to grade yourself. Good for you.
I know it's super high, but it's above average.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I give it an 11, 110% is what I give it. Sterling, a scale of 1 to 5, is it actually a 5, or is it like a 3.5, 4, 4.5?
Realistically, I know we're joking. I'd probably say like 2.5.
Okay.
Wow. Almost anyone else, I'd say more like a 1 or a 2 because it's Cole Reagans. I think part of the reason why it's also not higher, even with the injury history, because he said, this doesn't feel like what I've previously had, so he knows if it was something more serious. It does sound more precautionary than anything else as far as could he have maybe kept going? I don't know, does this lead to something else, or is this just a, hey, it's sore, it sucks, but with rest and ice, it'll be fine? I'd say like a 2.5 for... He knows what Tommy John feels like. Like, he knows what popping your UCL feels like.
And the Royals are always so extra careful with pitchers. I mean, in the same breath, they shut down Estevez for 3 weeks. Yesterday after he was on the way back, which stinks for this team. And so that does give me some hope to where, like, I was in the presser yesterday. Q interrupted Danny. He's like, no, we do not know if he's going to miss any time.
Yeah.
So he said, we're not there yet, where I feel like a lot of times they are there with injuries that are more serious.
Especially as like they'll miss at least one start and we'll evaluate from there. It wasn't even.
But Q said today, like they'll evaluate when he comes in today to get a better idea and a better feel of how he was feeling one day after. I hope he doesn't miss any time. And my
what is the therapy then for it? What's the treatment for video on demand?
Creatine, probably.
Okay.
Old Hoss Radburn was totally pitching through this many times.
Totally.
Yeah, but he was also pitching a hacky sack.
His,
so I mean,
left arm, and he started pitching right.
Yeah, that's probably what they did back in the day.
He just switched arms.
I actually
guarantee that happened.
He's amphibious. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
What's his? So this is called a what now?
Valgus.
It's a valgus.
I looked it up how to pronounce it. I think it's
valgus.
VAL.
Extension overload. Oh.
Extension overload. VALGUS.
Yep. Don't.
Extension.
Do you know how to spell extension?
Do you know how to spell extension?
I know. I'm treatment.
That looks like you have extensions in your mullet hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of overloaded with the country look.
It's this one says 4 to 6 weeks of rest from throwing, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs,
which is creatine,
ice, and physical therapy. That's for the valgus extension overload, VEO.
Do you think the Royals have like Googled AI yet?
If they haven't,
their trainers have Googled. It's the best.
Siri,
cartoon
what's
ever.
the rehab?
Oh shoot! You're
Honey, come in here. I think I found something that all the scientists in
The
the
Royals
world.
go up to him and go, wait, shoot, I think he's dying. Like he went to WebMD.
Yes,
It's a-
yes.
Shoot.
Hold on, he's got VO? I didn't know that.
Canadian whiskey?
Wish it was something less serious.
So according to AI overview on the Google,
Yep.
which no idea if the Royals know this or not.
They probably don't.
It says about 4 to 6 weeks of rest from throwing. So that seems not great.
Yeah. That's just if you want to fully clear it up. This guy's a major league pitcher. I mean, come on, go out there and throw.
You
What's
said
the worst that
Giordano
can happen?
went.
He missed a start.
One start.
Missed a start in 2014. So
Well, now I'm looking at the ortho bullets. They did like a whole spreadsheet on this thing, and it says like 65% of people get this if you're an elite baseball player. That feels high.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe don't believe that. I would believe.
Yeah, probably.
Q's
Oh,
on the-
ew.
probably.
They're doing like surgery on it. That's gross. There needs to be like a warning. I'm eating broccoli in here.
That also, so the extension overload requires surgery.
Not always, but it can. And for some reason, on this like
It's overloaded.
PowerPoint I looked up, they showed it like inside.
It can lead to, I saw loose bodies.
Well, that's skewball, so that's rough.
Yes.
That's you actually.
Lead to
That
loose
is
bodies.
that is actually a big deal.
Yes. You don't want that.
to have that loose bodies.
Well, then honestly, my point
Would you
remains.
you wouldn't settle out of court for 2
No.
to 3 months, would you?
No, because if there's just loose bodies and you can't identify them, then you need Johnny Doe surgery.
I say yet again, though.
I'm sorry about that one.
Seriously,
I do
this is
apologize.
me being serious, not the Johns, not the Tommy Johns.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd put him at least on the 15-day IL, just with if that does potentially lead to loose bodies. Just as long as you can, you trust Stephen Kolek. This is why you have depth.
Yeah.
This is why you have these guys. It's not like Cole Reagans was absolutely crushing this year to begin with. He's walking the world.
The thing is, though, and I agree with you, because last year they tried to pitch through Cole Reagans with the groin, and then it messed
Yeah.
up his shoulder. And Chris Bubich was trying to pitch through it and saying, "Well, I was pitching so well, so I just wanted to, keep going." And then he was gone for the season. Just nip this in the bud and say you're going to miss 2 starts, and when you come back, you'll be good to go. And Stephen Kolek is going to go out there and go 8 for 8 in quality starts, and it's going to be all good. We'll take a timeout. Come back. More Zone next. All right, wrapping up this hour. Mick Schaefer hanging out with us, presented by Advent Health Sports
You
Park.
got bad
at Blue
idea
Hawk.
jeans on right now.
Bad idea jeans,
Sterling.
Sterling. Bad idea jeans.
The Wranglers.
Bad idea. Bad things, man. Bad things. It's Dennis Hopper back in the day, that commercial. On the other side, we'll talk some college NBA draft supplements. Let's talk. Should we talk supplements?
Are
on
they
the other
doing a
side?
college draft now?
College and well, they might as well. I don't know. But some supplements, maybe. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Mick, you bodybuild.
Totally.
So we'll talk with Mick, our resident
daily building parts of my body
supplement expert, on the other side, as we'll hear from Darren Peterson. They figured it out, thank God, just in time for the draft.
agree on something? What's that? Do we agree on
I would
something?
continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We may not be able to move on with one member of the show. And you would think it'd be Sterling. You would, after what we've talked about, you would think it would be Sterling that we have
Somehow
to
he's
move
in
on
third
from.
place right now.
He's made the cut
That's
as
podium.
it stands right now.
Made the cut. Made a putt on 18 on Friday.
That's a podium, baby.
He's the one, the meme where 8th place is shaking up the champagne, going nuts. Everybody's looking at him. That is Sterling in a
The
nutshell.
alternate on the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Woo! We did it, everybody! Michael said Sandlot, the movie sucks, so...
I need to hear him expound.
Do we
I just
fire
don't like
him,
it.
or-
I think
Oh, he's already
Sandlot
fired.
is my Hoosiers.
No, Sandlot's better than Hoosiers. Yeah, Hoosiers is overrated.
Okay, well, now somehow
Sandlot's amazing.
Sterling's the best in the room now.
Well, that's not
My
true.
favorite.
That's not true.
I just need to stop talking because I feel like I move up
it,
more.
that's it.
I learned a lesson.
In trial where you're like, you know what? He's burying himself. I'm not going to say anything.
But isn't that kind of like Sterling? The less you talk, the more you move up.
Yes.
The more people
Great
like
lesson.
kind of like that Sterling.
Less
He's
is
talking.
more.
He's sliding down the ranks a little bit. So what is it that you don't like about one of the best movies that were
I just
ever?
don't think it's that enjoyable. I watched it a little bit later
Oh, a
on
little
in
bit.
life. I didn't watch it as a kid.
Did
I
you watch
watched
the whole
it-
thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Wrong.
You just said watch it a little bit, and I thought you meant a little bit, but you said a little bit late in
And
life.
you watched
later.
the
I
actual
get it,
movie.
yeah.
You didn't watch like a cartoon
Yes,
version.
You
of
didn't
it.
watch
Okay.
Sandlot 2?
I have not seen Sandlot 2.
No, I'm saying you didn't accidentally watch that.
That's
one.
actually a
Yes.
good question.
They made Sandlot too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
This one
that
was
the
with James
girls'
Earl
team or
Jones.
something like that. They played.
Right, the one with James Earl
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. The one
And
with
the
Baby
dog.
Ruth?
The dog.
The dog?
Yep, the dog. I was like, I could go without this.
Oh my gosh, we can go without Michael. I think.
I think we could probably
Yeah.
do that. Drake!
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say they dislike the Sandlot.
I'd never heard anybody say they disliked Hoosiers before.
Maybe I'll rewatch it.
Hoosiers? You're fine. You don't need to but rewatch Sandlot.
I'll rewatch Sandlot.
Yeah, rewatch Sandlot. It's much better than Hoosiers.
At least Hoosiers, true.
Yeah, the Sandlot's a true story. So there are tons and tons of kids that played in a Sandlot, and I bet one of those kids somewhere along the line played for the Dodgers.
They're just better baseball
Okay.
movies.
Well, Benny the Jet.
Well, I bet they didn't like run into like a blind guy that played with Babe Ruth with a big dog. I bet that didn't happen.
How do you know? You can't prove that.
Just can't prove it.
George, and he knew me. Bragger. What the guy? You knew George? You knew Babe Ruth? Yeah, I did.
And why was
And he knew me.
the stepdad was still mad when he gets the ball back,
Right.
and all of the Yankees have signed
Murderer's
it.
Row ball, and he's like, "Oh, but my Babe Ruth ball."
What
I'm
that
gonna-
told me is that like he was abusive. He was gonna be
He
abusive.
did black his eye.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah,
right?
Dennis Leary. He did black his eye.
He did.
Now he said it was from playing catch. I think they
Having a
recreated
catch.
that they went out there and played catch. I think the black eye was already there.
That was
That's
another
just my own
movie
personal
where the
opinion.
actors don't throw very well.
There are many
Dennis
layers.
Leary did not throw very well.
That's the thing is what he doesn't understand was that these are so many layers of character development in this movie that you can explore many years later of the dad, the stepdad, and stepson relationship. Right?
So he's pissed that Smalls took the ball, even though he never educated Smalls about the history
100%.
of baseball.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He never told him about Babe Ruth. He didn't tell him how
he thought it was the
important-
wimpy deer.
Yes, he thought it was like
or
signed by some woman.
Baby Ruth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but
That's on him.
But it's also a lesson of
totally beat him.
that your parents need you to stay out of certain rooms. You do stay out of certain rooms. But also, you know what? Don't give in to peer pressure. Just because you want people to like you, it doesn't mean you have to do some things like
He got
steal a
friends,
baseball.
though. Karen Allen, mom said, "Go get in trouble."
She did say
She
that.
said, "Go get in trouble."
Enough with your
Verbatim.
erector sets.
word for word. And
How many moms?
erector sets?
She said, "How many moms can tell their kids to do
Yes.
that?"
So I learned a lesson.
So he wouldn't
the
get in
mom said
trouble.
to get in trouble, so he did. And two, without him being peer pressured
Yep.
and being kind of bullied,
Right.
he would have had no friends. He would have had a horrible summer, but because he got bullied and goes, I'm going to try and endear myself to these people.
Yeah.
You know what I learned? Bring back bullying.
Yeah, and if that
That's
did,
the Sandlot motive.
right, but if that didn't happen and he walked around with that stupid ass hat on the whole time, but if that didn't
God, that hat
happen,
was so
it was
dumb.
terrible. But also Benny, like I guess, just folds a hat, keeps it in your back pocket. That's what they did back in the day. Mike, you wouldn't understand that because you didn't like the movie. But without
doesn't
that,
wear hats. I
Yeah, you
don't
don't wear
think
hats
you
either.
wear hats.
But without that, though, he doesn't grow up to be a broadcaster for the Dodgers. He stays with his erector sets and he becomes like a doctor that like cures cancer or something. Loser, right?
No,
Go out
actually,
and get in trouble.
actually, he got. We knew what happened. He got hit by a car 4 years later, and that's what happened. If he did not go and get bullied, so
Oh. It's an interesting turn on
there's common knowledge.
what we were having as a
help
fun
me out.
conversation.
Was this one of their
I
movies?
had him as a doctor curing cancer.
Was this one of the movies at the end? I can't remember. Where the play-by-play broadcaster, it's also getting broadcast over the PA at Dodger Stadium. I can't remember.
No, but it is one to where
he's walking around.
But
There's
he
no
stands
microphone
up and
in front
turns
of him.
around.
Yes.
The Jets stole home. The Jets stole home.
There's no mic in front of him.
And I do have somewhat of. It's a great movie, but acknowledging it's a great movie means we can also say there are some faults to it.
That's right.
It's like when
It's like Patrick Mahomes is the greatest of all time. I would like him.
Yes.
Stay in the pocket.
Right.
But if someone doesn't like Patrick very much and then criticizes, we're throwing hands.
That's different.
So it's like Darcy cannot criticize Sandlot.
Can't do it.
It's the issue I have with like the Jordan stands is that Jordan never made a mistake. I argue LeBron, but I acknowledge there are plenty of flaws in LeBron's game.
I will beat the crap out of my brother, but nobody else can.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. That's exactly right. But here's the point on that is the flaw they have is so they pinch run for Benny at third, and one, if they pinch run him to maybe, I don't know, score on a sacrifice fly, the guy that got to third, was he not fast enough? But also if he scores on a sacrifice fly.
It was Salvi. Salvi's at third.
But why would you be surprised or not be surprised to see some fireworks here? And if the broadcaster wasn't surprised to see some fireworks there, why was the other team completely caught off guard that in that specific situation somehow was calling for a steal of home when you just pinch ran? You put in a speed guy at third, and it's a steal home situation, which I'm not sure exists, but they say the Jets lost a step or two, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some fireworks here.
That's what
Explain the
do.
logic.
That is Gerard Dyson coming in for Billy Butler.
Yeah.
And sure, Gerard may have lost a step or two. He's still going to
Did he
get
steal
there.
home, though?
Well, it wasn't called.
Right, but it was so obvious, or you wouldn't be surprised if he stole home. The other team was completely caught off guard.
So what year was Sandlot set in that when they were kids? And what year was I feel like there was a bigger gap than should have been. Oh, it's that late. I thought it was in the 50s. Okay.
62. Summer of 19. And by the way, back in the day, stealing home was like a thing. That was a thing that people did.
And then what year was it released?
93.
So we assumed that's present day, right? Which would make him 43 years old.
43 years old,
roughly.
yeah, and he was able to steal third. Or steal home, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no, that'd be opposite. That'd be, you're right, because he'd be 10 at least.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
he's like 12.
He was
They were
12,
12.
13 years
Yeah.
old,
So, yeah.
for sure.
Well, but I mean,
you know the size of a 4-month-old baby,
Yeah,
so you
about
should know
the-
what a 10 or a 12-year-old looks like.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, there was another one.
It's
They
a
had the Sandlot
4-month-old
2,
baby is now
and then
a
the
unit of
Sandlot
measurement.
heading home. They had a third Sandlot.
Well, I feel like they could have jumped to any year there, and they
Yeah.
could have jumped to like 1979 when he makes his debut or something like that. Or
Yeah, or Small's son. You know, the dad builds a sandlot in the backyard for the neighborhood kids in the gated community because he's the Dodgers broadcaster, so he makes a lot of money.
And Salvo Perez comes by and plays wiffle
yep,
ball with him.
and just plays wiffle ball with him, and it's actually Salvi there. He plays himself.
I cannot believe they made a Sandlot 3.
They did.
That's what I said, heading home.
I don't think I knew about Sandlot 2.
That came out in 05. Sandlot 3 came out in 07. They said, let's just ride the Sandlot.
Well, they made like Home Alone 4 and 5. Like they were just like.
I think they're
Well,
still
all
making
of these are bad
I
decisions.
think Bruce
yeah.
Willis was in all of them
Sharknadoes.
too. Was Bruce Willis in Sandlot 4?
Yes.
He's actually
looking it up. Jesus. That's our cinephile.
Doesn't get the
That's our
joke.
Sterling. Knows all the
Doesn't get the
movies.
joke. Rotten Tomatoes.
It was Luke Perry. Luke Perry was the main
No
guy.
kidding, Dylan.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Dylan. Yeah, man.
The main guy.
God, I remember when they walked out because they wouldn't let Donna graduate or walk. So
I remember they were in
big walkout.
high school for like 7 years.
Yeah, they were there a long time, man.
I never said. I remember thinking, like, are they juniors this year finally? Or
Oh, what
are they-
movie? What show was? Are you talking about?
90210.
Oh, I
Beverly
was thinking
Hills.
of.
Something different.
Oh,
I was thinking of O.C.
no, something kind of like that though.
Saved by the Bell.
Are you thinking of Saved by the Bell? Because they were in high school for a while, but then they eventually graduated to the
College
beach.
years.
College years, and then working on the beach and stuff like that.
Look it up.
He could still pause time though, which is cool. Because then you could break the third dimension by pausing time and just look right at the camera.
Yeah.
And then we were all a part of it, so we felt like we were a part of the
R.I.P.
gang.
Screech too.
Yeah.
Dustin Diamond.
I know. That's right.
I'm gonna find this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll find it at some point.
Yeah. Well, eventually people found out what was wrong with Darren Peterson. That's the story now.
Oh, my God.
From ESPN, Darren Peterson finally has an answer.
One Tree Hill.
Do not put
That's
90210 period. and One Tree Hill in the same sentence.
No, I know, but I knew the intro song was by a guy named Butch Walker. It's a long story. It's
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek. They can be in the same.
Yeah, Dawson's Creek was nice.
And One Tree Hill.
Yeah, Joey.
I never saw it. I just knew the intro.
You've never seen One Tree Hill, but you put it in the same category.
No, I just know the intro song, and I thought it was the intro song for something else. And Luke Perry feels like he's in those shows.
Be better off with Steve.
You're Owen Wilson and Zoolander. My favorite artist is Sting. Never listened to his songs, but I appreciate
that he makes
them.
Darren Peterson has an answer, though. We know that. One of the top prospects in this year's NBA draft spent much of his freshman year at Kansas trying to solve mysterious and sometimes debilitating cramping. But in an extended interview with ESPN this week, Peterson said that a new round of blood work and other tests after the college basketball season led his doctors to conclude that his use of high doses of creatine created the condition. Creatine created condition. It's an alliteration that everybody has been dreading for years.
Triple C's.
He says, quote, "I'd never taken it before." Peterson said of the popular supplement.
Did he sound like that, by the way?
"I've never taken it before. But after the season, Ramona, I took 2 weeks off, and they did tests, which showed my baseline level was already high. So then they said when I dosed, a process of increasing the dose over time, it must have made the levels what they said were unsafe."
Have you thought about being an audiobook?
The whole time.
Good at it. Talker?
The whole time. But anyway, he had never taken it before. After the season, he took 2 weeks off, and they did tests, and that showed the baseline level was already high. So they said when I dosed, it must have made the levels unsafe. Ramona writes here, first his legs started cramping, then his stomach, back, arms, and hands. Eventually his whole body was cramping, talking about the incident that he had when he went to the hospital. He said, "I made it to the training room and just started begging them to call 911. They were trying to get a vein to get me the IV, get me back hydrated, but I was cramping so hard they couldn't get a vein. I thought I was going to die on the training table that day. They rushed him to the hospital. Eventually they got the fluids in him." And then he said, "Whenever I felt anything like that come on, my initial thought was that it might get to that again. And I can't let that happen and be embarrassed and have that on TV and all that. It kind of put me in a tizzy." God, I don't know the last time I've been in a tizzy, but...
Did he say tizzy?
He said it kind of put me in a tizzy.
I thought for
because
sure
I didn't know what was
that.
causing it. Nothing's ever been wrong with me before. Bragger. Basketball is life, what I love to do, but something was going on and I couldn't figure it out. My biggest thing was I'm going to keep trying because we don't know what's wrong and we can't say something's wrong. So I'm going to go out there, and when it happens, I'm going to ask to come out. I don't know if that was a right or wrong move. But when I committed to Kansas, I told Coach, I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to try to help you get a championship. I'm going to be out there for my teammates and for you guys. So I tried to hold up my end of the deal, trying to be out there. Peterson says, this is towards the end now, Peterson says he's starting to feel like himself again now that he has an explanation for what caused his issues with cramping. He's been training for the NBA Combine and Draft in Los Angeles and hasn't had any issues since he stopped taking a creatine supplement. He says he wants to be a point guard in the NBA. That's what he's training to do. Says, I was off the ball most of the year, but some of that was me not really being myself. So Coach is trying to figure out ways to help me still be effective without exerting too much. At the point guard, you got to bring it up. You got to do everything. I've been thinking about how differently things could have gone at Kansas if I didn't get hurt or have all this stuff going on. When I was out there, I felt like I still did all right. But there was another level of me that people didn't get to see. God, this is just, for him, it's really good timing that it happens right before the Combine.
What are the odds?
And the draft, that he can finally figure out that this whole time
1%?
It was just that he took creatine. So he had never done something in his life. Then he started taking high doses of something, and he was having really bad cramping, but they could never figure out what it actually was.
Here's what this opens the door for, and I'm eager for it to happen. He's kind of throwing KU in the training under the bus.
100%.
Who's no longer going to school there.
100%.
He's not wearing a KU jersey. It's
100%.
time for the Rick Burkhalter, who was the Ravens players that
Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, to come out and say, actually, here. That's what because they're going to be peppered now with questions.
Bill Self said, we've been doing everything to try to figure out what's going on. We're doing all these things, blood tests, doctors. And you're telling me not one time Kansas said, well, what if we looked at the creatine level, which does not cause dehydration. It actually retains water in the muscles.
You do need to drink a lot of water when you take creatine. That is a thing.
Okay, so be smart.
But the thing, Yes, the doctors will tell you that if you're taking creatine, and also, two, if they did blood tests early, your creatine shows up. I get blood tests once every 6 months. Cholesterol, baby. Come on.
Yeah.
Love salt.
Well, they did a new round of blood work.
And what does it show up? My creatine level shows up then. And I know what it is every time. And I get you can have, I know to an extent what he's going through with the creatine being off the charts. I had a friend that did that. When you like break down your muscles, it can somehow send creatine out. He had to go to the hospital. It was like a 2-week-long thing. It was a disaster. Like, I know what it, because he thought he was dying too. Like, your entire, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't question what he was feeling and going through on the training table and then going to the hospital.
Because it sounds like what my friend went through, but also what he went through was his first time working out in like 3 years, and he went really hard, and that's why it was a disaster.
A little different than
a guy working
athlete.
than a high level athlete doing this. Unless he had the hardest workout of his entire life for some odd reason, whilst also crushing copious amounts of creatine.
But it 100. This is
I feel
either
bad for Darren because that whatever happened clearly did mess him up.
Right, but this is either it's just pretty good timing for him to have this out there, or it's just specifically calling out Kansas. I think it's the latter. If this is like I joke about, it's creatine, whatever. If it does turn out to be that was the whole issue was creatine, he's calling out Kansas for being a little cavalier and not doing everything they can. And it seems as simple as I just stopped taking creatine and then I stopped being dehydrated. And we never tried that there. We never did that. All of these different things we did, somehow they were still pouring that creatine down my throat and telling me to work out and do everything else and it was going to be fine. But once I got on my own away from college and I stopped taking it, now I'm good. It's a huge red flag or black eye for KU and the training staff if Darren Peterson is simply saying, well, now that I'm out of college, we figured it out pretty quickly.
He said they weren't calling 911. He was begging them to call 911. They wouldn't do it, and they finally did.
He would also be a medical anomaly because creatine hydrates the muscles.
Well,
if he was experiencing
he has a medical anomaly with all of the cramping that he had and inability to come back in, at least in his mind.
But if he was experiencing the said side effect of creatine, we study the guy because that's just not how it works.
I do think something seriously though happened that I do feel bad for Nick because I mean whatever happened clearly did happen and scarred him.
I think it turned into a mental side of it to try to
100%.
go out there and exert the energy you need while trusting that your body's not going to go into a big cramp. Aaron Borgman, rehab all-star that was one of the trainers with the Chiefs for a long time, tweeted out the quote of the story and said, who wants to tell him it wasn't the creatine?
Oh, wow.
Says, got to consume enough water, electrolytes on top of that. A little bit of education goes a long way. I think this is...
So he's alleging some crazy kind of medical malpractice there by the KU training staff.
Right.
When, I mean, I've never taken creatine, but you guys who aren't doctors, right away.
I've taken creatine
Well,
before.
we can all tell you. And
it is one of the most tested, I don't even want to call it is the most tested, what would you call it? Supplement. They have done so much research on it, and there's a loading phase to it. You can take like 20 grams for like the first 5 days. You cannot OD on creatine.
Apparently your muscles can.
Apparently.
According to this one.
My sons have taken it, and one went and gained 35 pounds this past offseason. For
muscle?
I'm sure a lot of that's water because your body retains
No, he wasn't
water.
working out. He was just taking the beefcake.
Yeah, he's trying to get up to college offensive line weight.
Yeah.
And so, no, it's not all muscle. But he may never practice. I'm saying. So that's my only personal.
It's like all muscle to me.
Yeah.
So it's a hard worker.
Nice.
Must get that work ethic from his mom.
There's some dudes that are like 290 with abs. He's not one of them.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, Aaron Donald.
There's some dude who has 290 with abs.
One, yeah.
Some dude. Not plural.
There is a guy out there that is a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest that ever played his position in the NFL.
Guess what? I guarantee you that if he had some issues, it wouldn't be the creatine that was the issue.
Yeah. I think he's calling out Kansas here. I think what this does is it makes Kansas look bad. Is this
Yeah,
makes
and
the
so
training
will we
staff
finally get to the truth?
Yeah,
now
he's not there, so
he's not there. KU can come out.
But
swinging.
it also wrote here, and I skipped over it, and I shouldn't have. It says all season HIPAA rules prohibited Kansas coach Bill Self from discussing the cramping incident or giving further details on Peterson's health. They talked about Peterson's health a lot of different times. They talked about the cramping. Yeah. They mentioned cramping, mentioned sickness at times, but cramping was something that he brought up many times. They just never got into the incident that happened in on the training table earlier in the season on the boot camp days, which, I've said, and I think most people acknowledge, was a mistake because it allowed people to fill in the blanks of the cramping where there would have been a little more grace given of the cramping if that wasn't a blank spot and saying, well, the guy just gets there, now it's load management. Oh, now he doesn't want to play. Oh, he's cramping. I've never seen somebody cramp and not be able to come out of the game. Oh, look at this guy, had cramps. And Bryson Tiller, cramping. He came back in the game. Oh, I didn't know that was allowed. That's weird that happens. And then at the end of the season, he's like, well, actually, I went through a traumatic event. Oh, well, you didn't think that would be something that might help the image along the way of something that you had to deal with? Like, they didn't think that might be some sort of a possibility to help tell the story rather than everybody just going,
when did we find out about that?
Was at the Big 12 tournament.
That's when we found out about
when
his
he was allowed
incident?
to talk. When the locker rooms were open. When you protect them and say freshmen aren't really talking and we're not going to let them talk because all
He
this
talked
and that.
some during the season.
Well, luckily for Bill Self, they're going to have zero issues with Stokes.
I really wish. I want Tyron Stokes now to take an IG picture of him holding out like 20 bottles of creatine on his arm. Instead of the $20 bills, just a full arm worth of creatine. Just sitting there holding
a picture
it
of him
in the
Mick?
IG picture.
No. Have you ever thought about doing that? Just holding money on your arm? Just dollar bills, $20 bills on your arm?
Money spread.
Is that what it's called?
Is that what it is? No. Is that what he did?
That's what he did, which always is a good sign before you've played a game for the
wanna-
university that you...
I want a money spread so bad, dude.
Have you thought about that, though? You haven't thought about...
No, I just up in the air like that.
You
with
make it
my
rain.
dollar bills.
Yeah, that's what I said. I want him to put out a picture like that of just creatine bottles lined from his wrist to his elbow.
I'm sure Bill loved that picture of,
Yeah, you know. You know what? You know what Bill says? You know what? You show up hydrated and can play. Show off the money all day long, buddy. Because Darren Peterson wasn't showing off the money. He also wasn't showing off his skills.
I'll be in the picture with you if you want.
I'll do whatever. You want me to make it rain on you?
You know what? In fairness, we did
What do
see
you
late night
need?
at was it late night at the Fog, and we did see Bill Self kind of dripped out. So
It was
maybe
late night at the Fog, not late night with the dog. It's an old Nick line.
Spirited conversation that day.
The Tiger didn't go Tiger. Snoop Dogg was Snoop Dogg. Or no, it was a Tiger. Snoop Dogg didn't go off script. Snoop Dogg did Snoop Dogg stuff. The Tiger didn't attack him. The Tiger went Tiger. That's all the Tiger did. God, that was a fun one.
I feel like I've been vindicated in that because he's on the Olympics and he's a straight arrow, right?
Absolutely, yes.
You could have expected him to be that way and not like.
Well, they didn't expect the acrobatic dancers.
Well, didn't he have
or acrobatic performers?
Like
what do they call them?
4-foot-long blunt.
That was
too?
one of them, but I think it was also the kids that were there with the
strippers,
acrobatic
He who
performers.
lights the first 4-foot blunt.
Cast the first. Stone
Cast
or
the
something like
first
that.
light. I don't know.
If you live in a blunt house, you cannot throw stones. Or get stoned.
Or get stoned.
Get
yeah,
stoned.
that was so close. So close there. But yeah, they
don't get stoned in a glass house is what I got from
But
this
that's the
entire
thing, though.
segment.
Along the way, you do learn lessons. Like now they'll learn lessons of creatine with the next athletes, and they learn lessons not to have acrobatic performers at late night anymore. So we all learn and those kids learn something too. They
learned a lot.
They learned a lot. They went outside and they're like, oh, there's a bird and a bee and other things that are going on. Why is that? It's weird. We good, Sterling? We good?
Yeah, I think
you
we're
good?
Yeah, we're good.
We handle everything? Everybody got their jokes in? We good? Mick, got any left?
I think so.
Michael, you ready to watch Sandlot again?
No.
Are we going to be able to tell whether he's load managing or if he's actually cramping still in the NBA?
I'll say this: when it comes to in all seriousness, when he gets to, and I know that's a serious question too. When he gets to the combine and workouts, he better not cramp. Like he can't cramp one
I thought
time.
you were going out in a joke. I was waiting for something to happen.
No.
there.
I'm like honestly, he's got it figured out, right? They did it. They figured that was it. It was that, and we're good now. Because now that if it's not that, well, okay, well now the next team that drafts you, you thought you figured something out and you didn't, so you can't cramp anymore. Can't be a cramp.
I'd stay away.
I probably wouldn't even work out.
No, if I'm a team, I'd stay away from him.
Until you're about
if I'm a team in the
Sixers.
first few picks. Sixers, you want the Sixers taken?
Yeah, he falls to 18.
Do they know
20.
yet?
Well, it depends on
I don't know
if
yet.
If we just assuming like
depends on if they lose
I-
this
they're
series,
made-
though.
yeah, they
I
made the
mean,
playoffs, I guess. They'll
you know,
be
you got to
good.
wait for the series to be over to see where
They
we're
got
gonna be
playoff teams in the
picking,
lottery now, though.
At least 2. You lose that 7-8 game, you're in the lottery, at least moving forward. All right, we'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. We got cuts before the show is over as well. We continue more zone next. I don't know, maybe Darren Peterson should have gone to Heartland Men's Health. If he was looking for a boost of energy or something like that along the way, maybe it's a testosterone issue. Who knows what was going on? But I know this, Heartland Men's Health would get to the bottom of it. If you have some issues that are going on in your life, maybe you're in your 40s, 50s, older, or maybe even younger, and you think some symptoms you're suffering from could be related to low testosterone, well, Heartland Men's Health, they have treatments that can help you out in all of those different ways. And in fact, they can help out with more than just testosterone, because they are helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more, all designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. And with low T treatments, combined with the body composition programs, most men notice real improvements, more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, often a renewed libido. All of that can be related to low testosterone and other things in this more holistic approach that Heartland Men's Health is wanting to take. Simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. They'll do your lab work, have your results within 30 minutes. A licensed medical provider will review the results with you, discuss your options, help you make the decision together with the medical team. Cost of the appointment, it's only $99, and that includes medical consult, T, and PSA test. And if you sign up for treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Heartland Men's Health, successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Royals start a 3-game set against the Tigers. Big one starting tonight. In the next couple of days, Royals wrapping up their 7-game homestand after splitting the series, 4-game series against the Guardians. And it's amazing.
Worst kind of split.
I mean, it's amazing that how you or which games you win, you come away with a different feeling on the series. If you lose one, win one, lose one, win one, you got a split. Nice job. Lose the first 2, win the next 2.
You're on fire.
Battled back and got the split.
The best, I think, is winning games 1 and 4.
Okay.
Because you have optimism going in after the first game, and then you have optimism leaving the last game.
Yeah, sure.
Is that the best split?
I think it's probably winning the last one is probably the best split. But I mean, it's weird because it doesn't matter. It's all the same. They're 2-2 against the Guardians, no matter which games they won. But it does feel like they gave something away.
Well, Vinny's like, yeah, you tell us a week ago we're split with the Guardians.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
hell yeah.
Now we're just totally disappointed.
You're going to sweep the Mariners, split the 4-game with the Guardians, and the Tigers won't have Skubal or Framber Valdez, and Torres is on the IL.
That's the whole deal, though. You take 2 or 3 here, it's a good homestand.
It's a big game tonight.
Agreed. Well, agreed.
4 and 3 against teams in your division that are just all right there. Nobody's good.
Be 7-4 over the 11 games that we said 6-5 would be pretty good for this team. Let's hear from Vinny. He has not had a good season with runners in scoring position so far. He ain't the only one, but he is definitely one that is pointing the finger at himself with the issues with this Royals offense.
It starts with me. I mean, I'm dog with runners in scoring position all year. Go read what Zabrowski just said to me in the last inning there. That's how I've been hitting all year. So with runners on base. So I got to be better when they're out there. Got to put the ball in play, make something happen, and just be better. So we regroup tonight and get back at it tomorrow. Obviously, I'm going to take anything personal, and it's just a little loud. You can celebrate with your dugout all you want. And we made eye contact, and then obviously I know what he said, so I didn't say anything to him. But if that's the way he likes to play, he's a reliever, right? Those guys get juiced up. I've got no personal issue with him, but it makes it a little bit more fun, I guess. He's been really good all year long. So hats off to him. He made his pitches, and I didn't do my job. So the victor writes the story or whatever it is, and he beat me today. So won't be the last time I face him. So we just got to be better next time.
So Vinny has no problem.
Where can we read what he said, by the way?
He said effing B as he was walking off the mound. Zabrowski did.
I heard that. I saw that later, but immediately what did he say? Do we know he said that immediately?
No, he was.
That didn't get, something got Vinny's attention before he said effing B.
Yeah, so the video is shown actually from the Guardians broadcast.
Yes.
And he's walking off the mound. Then it switches the camera to Zabrowski, and you can see him mouth effing B.
Yeah, but that was later.
But he's also
immediately.
And he's looking away. He's starting to look away from Vinny when he's saying the effing B.
Yes. Because Vinny stares him down immediately, so he yells something. But it was funny.
You suck with runners in scoring position. Read what he just said.
Your so bad.
Read what he just said about me. It's true.
I got excited. I was like,
"You're now 5 for 39."
Are there transcripts of the game now somewhere?
He said, "Read what he said."
Yes. We asked him. We followed up what he said. He's like, you probably hear on the broadcast.
Go read it.
Yeah,
go read it. Is there a pool reporter that can go and ask the umpires?
Vinny just told you to go read a book.
But I'm guessing it was
I think Lofton heard it because Lofton was coming down from third and was like, "Oh."
I'm guessing it was something like you're something trash or something like that. Because he said what he said is correct about how I've been hitting with runners in scoring position to where effing B wouldn't be like a good description of.
Right. What if he said he's bleeping dog bleep with runners in scoring position?
What if he said, you're hitting 194?
You're not playing up to the level that you usually hold yourself to, Vinny, and hopefully for you, it will get better. But right now, it's not good enough. Just read what he said about me.
Something like that.
Read what he said about me, and it's absolutely true.
That sounds about right. About the timing, too. That looks correct.
Yeah. Zabrowski's just a really good guy. That's what we've heard about.
I put that out there. It went a lot of ways, I'm sure. I think Bethany was there, put it out there, and a lot of people, Bethany got on it. And so half the people were piling on. So yeah, he's been horrible this year. But half were like me, like they're like, I love the accountability, right?
Yes, always.
We don't like what's happening on the field, but like you said, he's not the only one. And you just, as a fan, I think true fans love the accountability, and they love to hear the Royals cuss now. He's a leader, yeah. And so he needs to pick it up. He always starts slow. I think he will. But I like hearing that.
He and Vinny and Kaggs are combined with runners in scoring position, 8 of 64 with 8 singles.
Not great, Bob.
With runners in scoring position. When there are 2 outs with runners in scoring position, Vinny and Kaggs have combined 1 of 27.
But then, yeah, it's a solo home run. Yesterday, down 4.
Yeah, down right.
Down 5, I think.
Then with
That's
runners,
the Aaron Judge special.
Then with second and third, down 3 in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Strikes out. Yeah, that's it's been rough, and yes, the middle of that lineup and runners in scoring position has been an issue. They got hot and went 10-3, and they were driving in runs when runners were in scoring position. They were coming through with some big hits. They were breaking open a game or coming right back in a game in which they gave up a couple of runs. Yeah. And I think they had the bottom of the first was a huge inning.
Yes,
because Lugo gave up 3, and you came right back and got bases loaded. It was a 4-pitch walk to Bobby. Carter a 5-pitch walk. Jack's up there and swings at a low curveball on pitch number 1 with a guy that is battling his command and just a slow roller to first.
Yep.
Like,
how many?
Can't swing it. You can't swing at that. You just can't swing at that.
How many times have we seen the Royals leave the bases loaded? Feels like a ton.
Twice yesterday.
Way more than they unload them.
It almost feels like multiple times a game. Because the point I'm making here is it does feel like they get on base. Like, it does feel like this team is getting a decent amount of singles. They're taking more walks, as we've been alluding to. They are taking a lot more walks. But do you want to take a guess, take a gander, Mick, where this team ranks in OPS with runners in scoring position?
In Major League Baseball?
Yes.
Even after the last couple of weeks where they've played like a real team, I'm going to guess they're still 30th.
Yep, they're 30th.
Yeah.
They have the lowest slug by a wide margin, which also alludes to the 8 for 64 with all singles.
That's why I'm okay with guys running into outs at third base with one out. What are the odds? What are the odds they're going to bring you home from second base?
Because the next
5%.
It was a fly ball.
If you have a 50-50 shot at getting to third, go.
Yeah, because it was a fly ball.
Yeah.
The next, so if Michael gets there, it's a sacrifice fly, but he didn't, and it,
I
may
think
have
the bulk
killed
of yesterday's problem though was pitching and throwing and strikes out.
Yeah,
of course. Stop walking the ballpark. 3 innings in the 3 runs in the first, you could have survived it, but then Sarantola, I get it, youngster up for the second time, gives up a 3-run bomb. I like the first strike he had thrown that inning.
Yeah, and if the runs had, in fairness, and yes, they gave up 8 runs, so don't do that. But in fairness, had the runs come earlier, Sarantola's not pitching in that situation. But that's the problem with trailing 5-2 or 5-0 and 5-2 and 8-2 and 8-5. Like, yeah, you're not going to throw Daniel Lynch and Matt Strom and Urseg in those situations. So the offense didn't do enough early to help out the starter that didn't do nearly enough.
That came after an inning where they had second and third, I believe. In the bottom, was it the bottom of the 6th? When did Sarantola come in? 6th or 7th?
Oh yeah, when they had Nick Lofton sack fly.
They had an opportunity to make it like a 5-4 game, and to your point, I don't think he's coming in at that point.
Yeah, they had a sack fly from Lofton, which was a nice pinch hit by Q. And I said the same thing, and then they brought in Lane Thomas for Isbell. They brought in the righty to pitch. He drew a great walk. Lane Thomas, great job. And then it flips over for Garcia, and that's your chance. And that's what I said. I thought honestly, Q did a great job understanding the situation there and said, hey, we're kind of putting our chips in here. We're going to empty the bench. We're going to try and find a way to scratch across as much as we can. I'm going to give Garcia a chance or Bobby or someone to break this game open. Garcia just didn't come through.
Well, and that's where, the Guardians the last couple of days had come through in certain situations where we talked he that was middle. Well, yeah, you left one middle. You're going to major league hitters are going to crush it. And that's where I was disappointed with Michael Garcia in that at bat. I know hitting a baseball is incredibly hard, but in the bottom of the 6th, you're down 5-2. You've got bases loaded, down by 3 with 2 outs, and it's a 3-2 pitch, and the guy can't locate his changeup, and he throws a fastball. That's middle. And Michael misses it and flies out to right field. Like, if you're Michael, like you in your mind, I know he's got to throw me a fastball. He has to, because he's not locating with anything else. There's bases loaded, and there's 2 outs. And the Guardians have been squaring those up the last couple of days. In all fairness, the Royals went 10-3, and they were doing that. They didn't do it yesterday, and Michael, I bet, would love to have that pitch back, because I think there's probably a time when Michael gets hot where that pitch is put between right field and center field, and it clears the bases because everybody's running with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
Do we
and
feel,
3-2 count.
Do we feel at least, maybe we shouldn't, but I almost feel slightly positive going forward. The Royals are 17-21 while having the worst runners in scoring position, OPS in baseball. So for me, I don't think they're going to be 30th all year long. And maybe they do, and maybe this is who they are. But if they even go 20th at the end of the year, you're sitting here going, okay, that's probably a 84 win
It could
team.
correct to 20th. I don't know if they're much better. I think it's kind of who they are. They're just and Vinny has always been the best bat to ball guy in an RBI situation, situational hitter. If you need a ground ball, he'll give it to you. You need a fly ball, he'll give it to you. Just hasn't done it this year. He's been, as some would say, effing blank. Wait, no, dog blank.
What if you said effing blank?
I blanked the word. I blanked dog.
I want to blank on that.
I've done that before when you say you blink the wrong word.
Like you said you had an S word bleeping grin.
Yeah.
No, you have a bleep eating grin. Let's hear from Seth Lugo.
I just didn't want to eat it.
Who I think Seth Lugo gets into this sometimes, this mode of if he's not getting borderline pitches in the first, he gets very frustrated and almost starts to be too fine, and he gets hit around a little bit. Here's Seth Lugo talking about his frustration with his outing yesterday afternoon.
I obviously want to pitch deeper, especially after yesterday's game, but, I feel like, probably could have used the challenges more. That probably would have made my pitch count a lot better. Probably would have, saved a lot of frustration in the first, but, that's what it is.
The 2-2 pitch to Ramirez, one that stand out to you?
Yeah, definitely. That one. And then, after Carter challenged that sweeper, I didn't think it got back, but, I trust him back there. So, I'm glad he's, trying to make something happen for me back there. But I feel like, after we missed that one, the corner's kind of shut down for me there from the umpire's point of view.
Sounds like Seth Lugo is frustrated with Carter, not necessarily himself, by giving up all those runs. Because, by the way, Carter didn't challenge some, but also Carter not challenging doesn't mean you got to throw 100 pitches in 3 innings.
Yeah.
So
was that their last challenge?
No, he said that they didn't. He said we could have used the challenges more, probably would have helped out the pitch count. But then once he used the challenge on that sweeper, which I didn't think got back.
Yeah.
So why are you challenging?
Garcia lost in the third, I think.
Then it took the corners away from me at that point.
You saw a challenge to get the corner
But
back on any pitch.
They lost, though, I think, in the third.
And I wonder, I wonder if there's a moratorium on Royals pitchers. Have we seen a pitcher challenge?
I haven't seen a pitcher challenge.
I don't remember
this year.
one.
Yeah. So is it, hey, pitchers don't challenge because you got your head moving and everything, and the catcher's right there? Yeah. Carter hasn't been good in his challenges this year.
Let's take a step back and you have basically a rookie back there, and Seth Lugo, who has been pitching since the 90s, it feels like.
Yeah.
Let's maybe trust the veteran there, and maybe it's not just, hey, it's black and white and always catcher and never pitcher.
Or extra pressure, extra things on Carter.
Yeah, or maybe just like, in a game you had a rough first inning, then you can also go and help out your pitch count in different ways too. Like,
and I feel like he said that stuff. I mean, I was there for all of it, and he was owning a lot in other questions.
Yeah.
I feel like that wasn't throwing Carter under the bus.
Why would I play that though?
Oh,
I'm just joking.
Shock
it's
jock.
The only clip that I saw in the system here. So he talked for 37 seconds yesterday. That's crazy that he did that.
He was asked specifically about one of those pitches. So
asked specifically, do you think Carter struggled with challenges, Seth? And would you like to start challenging more often? He probably should, though. If he's that frustrated, then you take control of some of those challenges. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Michael takes control of some cuts next. All right, wrapping up the show. We are trying to cramp in the cuts here in this final.
Cramp them in?
That's what we're trying to do.
Freudian slip.
Nice. I did it on purpose.
Oh, it's a Freudian. Stay on your feet.
In your mouth.
Yes. Just spitting on balls. Oh, really?
Well, bam.
Okay.
Shove it in your mouth.
Wow.
Wow, both those back to back.
That was pretty impressive, I think.
That sounded like me. Was that you doing an impression of me?
I don't know what any of those are.
None of me. I'm good this week.
You're sucking on something. But I mean, I never realized it was this large. If the guy wants you off, he's going to get you off.
Okay.
You let liquor.
You were good for a nanosecond, Sterling.
I thought I was good, man. I thought I was
great timing.
Sorry if I'm stuttering. My adrenaline is through the freaking roof right now, and I love this.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry about that, guys.
He apologized for the stuttering part.
But I like how Joe Goldberg was like, "Pardon me."
Pardon me.
I also like just spitting on balls. Oh wow, really?